How will the Chiefs adjust their game plan without Kelce? Surely they're not going to run still a lot of 12 and some 13 personnel out there. So quite a bit of Matt Bushman, quite a bit of Blake Bell and Noah Gray. Not their fault. They're just not Travis Kelce, so the plan has to change. The offensive line was phenomenal, at least in pass blocking, which is where their money is really to be found. Then you get the 2 penalties you've been waiting on all game. If you're worried about Donovan Smith, the worst of him from Tampa Bay, you're worried about a big holding penalty in a bad moment. And in his defense, he played a good day of football and then got beat to the inside, held a dude for a second, let him go, got the flag. It happens. Also, a whole bunch of people who have called in have now dropped off. 913-381-10-810. Dylan's doing a lot back there. We got a lot of moving parts, so be patient with this. We'll get to you shortly. But the thing that's really going to stick to me, and if you're a longtime listener of this program, then you're going to know where I'm going. Andy Reid decided multiple times that he would rather have Harrison Butker take the field rather than give Patrick Mahomes an incredibly reasonable chance to have a 4th down on offense. And just, I hope people don't just immediately hear this as being like a analytics play that bleeds straight into complaining about the weakest point in a all-time great NFL head coach's resume and in his game. I've said this before. It's why it's so frustrating. Andy Reid is an incredible coach, which is why it's so infuriating when he gets the easy stuff wrong. And twice on 4th and short in good scenarios, they tried out Harrison Butker, including, look, the first time you take a 3-point lead. You take the lead. There's some argument. I'd rather have Mahomes out there than Harrison Butker, but whatever. The second one is inexcusable. Why? You saw why. Totally useless. That second field goal on 4th and short, I'll get the down and distance for you too, just for fun. We'll move down the fourth quarter of this game. 4th and 2 from the 21-yard line. Up by 3. 17-14. The Chiefs kick a field goal. They take a 1-possession game and turn it into a 1-possession game. What happens in these scenarios is that when you don't plan ahead accordingly, put yourself in the best situations you can from a game plan perspective, and don't put the ball in the hands of Patrick Mahomes, eventually you find yourself in a special kind of desperation hell that is 4th and 25, trying to find wide receivers who have not been earning your trust at any point over the entire course of this game. That's where you end up. The little trick play in the red zone that didn't quite work, that doesn't really bother me. It was, 1st, 2nd down? But you get to a real legitimate high leverage 3rd and 1, and you do the Blake Bell thing. The one thing we've talked about is the off-speed version of the Blake Bell sneak that would have been awesome was, all right, you have a motion in, you always show Bell under center, quick snap, make it happen. The off-speed version is you have Bell motion in, make a loud noise, defensive line jumps, you snap the ball, you get a free 1st down. That happened! And they didn't snap the ball. I don't know if that was on Reid, who should have just seen that and taken it in his own hands. Probably not. Or if it was on Blake Bell, who should have seen that and called for the football. Seems reasonable. Or if there just wasn't a way for the Chiefs to plan accordingly there, to say, hey, when you see this, here's what happens next. When the D-line jumps, when we get them to bite on this. They got on the bite and did not snap the football. Belldozer sneaks played out, so what do? Hand it to Rashee Rice, who has no hope on the end around. They lose 3 yards. We're talking about another punt. In 3 high leverage moments, I'm gonna make sure I'm couching this appropriately, okay? Because I really understand. I hear myself in these headphones. I know how I sound. But in 3 high leverage critical moments, Andy Reid said, give me Harrison Butker, and give me Blake Bell. Andy Reid, one of the greatest coaches, one of the greatest offensive minds in the history of this beautiful sport that we all love, where silly things happen because the ball isn't round. One of the greatest coaches of all time said, let's take the ball away from Patrick Mahomes. I don't want to live like that anymore, man. I know this isn't the first time we've had this conversation. We've had a version of this conversation 6 bleeping times. And here it comes back to bite you. On the other hand, you have a coach who is too aggressive, right? And actually, should have been more aggressive on one other occasion. Dan Campbell had a bad punt. But then, at midfield with the game on the line, they say, we're going to try to ice this thing here. If it doesn't work, we'll put the ball back in the hands of our defense. And they don't get it. Justin Reid bats the pass down. The Chiefs get the ball back. And how were the Lions punished? How exactly were the Lions punished for their gall? They weren't. Because football continues to happen. They said, we think our best chance here to ice this game is to let our offense do it. 3 times, Andy Reid took the ball from Patrick Mahomes in high leverage moments. That's more frustrating to me than Kadarius Toney looking like a guy who hasn't caught a football in a month. And by the way, he physically looked great. Dude was open. Maybe the only Chiefs receiver who I frequently, oh wow, Kadarius Toney's wide open. Incomplete. Drop. Oh, he caught it. He being the Lions defender. Kadarius Toney is more responsible for this loss than Andy Reid, I guess. The entire group of receivers who didn't seem to get open at any clip at all. You have Travis Kelce out there, and maybe Andy Reid's a little more aggressive. Certainly the offense looks better. Certainly Patrick Mahomes has a pass catcher he trusts. But they didn't have Travis Kelce, and I'm not saying you needed to be able to have the best offense in football without a future Hall of Fame tight end, the greatest of all time. But you shouldn't turn into a pumpkin when you still have Patrick Mahomes. And again, Seth Kaiser tweeted this out, who's always watching for formational stuff like this. A lot of 12 and 13 personnel without Travis Kelce. A lot of 2 and 3 tight end usage without the greatest tight end of all time. And you have all 7 of these receivers active. Can any of them get open? I think I mentioned this on a pregame or on a preseason postgame show this year. But I don't think I ever tweeted it out because I looked around. I didn't want to just start a panic in the first quarter of the first or second preseason game. I think we talked about it here. That the bad ending, kind of like a video game term. Choose your own adventure here. The bad ending, when you turn to page 85 and your character falls into the pit. I've not gone to books. I've gone from video games to books. I'm trying to appeal to everybody here. Your character falls into a pit, and you go, that's the worst case scenario. Let me go ahead and flip back to this page. I'm going to make a different choice. So you get the bad ending in your video game. The bad ending I was afraid of for this Chiefs season was that we would be damned to weeks and weeks and weeks of, Mahomes has all day, but nowhere to go with the football. The way I talked myself out of that fear was to say, well, Patrick Mahomes with all day, eventually a receiver will get open. And I just really didn't think it was going to take 3.5 seconds for anybody to find anything. Matt Derrick had a stat I wanted to read. We'll talk to him later. We'll also take your calls, figure out the presser situation. We'll bring you all that. Matt Derrick tweeted, Chiefs wide receiver catch percentage above or, in more cases, below expected tonight. Catch percentage above or below expected. MVS plus 35%. Had an incredible catch that looked like it was going to knock his head off. Justin Ross plus 26%. Justin Watson minus about 2. Richie James minus 10. Rashee Rice minus 10. Kadarius Toney minus nearly 60. And Sky Moore minus 61%. I don't know what the real plan is. I don't know what it looks like if you have to live without Travis Kelce. I hope he feels great 10 days from now. But Chris Jones being out is not the story of this game. The Chiefs' defense, as painful as it was at times, not the story of this game. In a night where the Lions scored 21 points, the Chiefs' defense gave up 14, and 7 of them never should have happened. The Chiefs had one Lions touchdown drive that's the Lions beating the Chiefs' defense here. Because they got to stop on the touchdown drive that was sparked by the fake punt, because 4th and short, deep in their own territory, special teams weren't ready. Dave Toub looked furious. I don't blame him. But they weren't ready for it. And then the pick six. Chris Jones was in a suite bookended by the Katz brothers. A lot of dude shoved into 3 seats. Bookended by his agent sitting up there waiting for another angle they can try. And good luck. Week one in the books. I think everyone's going to be in a real good mood to negotiate, fellas. Great work by you guys. And maybe Chris Jones does change the path of this game. Could not possibly care less what the next Katz Brothers press conference sounds like. You know, maybe the Chiefs could have only given up 19 points with Chris Jones out there. Don't even need this offense. Don't care about that. Far beyond my scope of giving a bleep. But without their best defensive player, they gave up 14 points on defense, and 7 of them came after they had 4th and short. So frustrating. The worst case of this offense today without Travis Kelce was, maybe this is going to look like a weird, bad, constipated offense where it's just everything is difficult. I think I said that either earlier today or yesterday on The Zone. I am afraid that things are just going to look tougher for the offense. But Mahomes is going to do some crazy bleep, and they're going to figure it out. Well, Mahomes did some crazy bleep. And the number 1 and 2 wide receivers, based off at least offseason hype and reporting, and I don't just mean by us. I mean the national guys who are digging around training camp and the people that Veach is talking about and all of that. The 2 receivers that were supposed to take these huge jumps, be huge parts of this offense, gave the ball away more often than they brought it in themselves. And Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore. It is infuriating. I know we got a full phone board. I also know it's towards the end of this hour, so here's what I want to do. I'm going to go ahead and take a timeout for ourselves. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll start hearing from you over the phones, 913-381-810. Plus, you can watch the show on the Sports Radio 810 WHB, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. We're video streaming in all of those places. And we're going to be here late into the angry hours of the evening and early morning, I have to imagine, because the Chiefs gave us plenty to talk about, but not for any of the reasons we wanted to talk about it. It's the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. I'm Joshua Briscoe. We'll break down more of the action and take your calls next.
You're listening to live post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey Kansas City, it's Justin Reid, safety for your Kansas City Chiefs. As you know, it was a great first year here in Kansas City. And that's right, the whole time I was driving my F-150 from Victory Ford.
Come in today and check out our great selection of F-150s and experience the Victory Ford difference.
Brian Pringle and his team at Victory Ford are not only a world-class dealership with great selection of new and pre-owned vehicles and top-notch customer service, but also a great partner with the J. Reid and D Foundation.
Visit us today at the Legends or victoryfordkc.com, where our first price is better than their last.
When it comes to the old roof over your head, experience matters. Since 1992, Pyramid Roofing has delivered high-quality commercial and residential roofing services with the utmost honesty and integrity. They stay on top of industry standards and new developments, ensuring they use the right equipment and top-quality roofing materials for each unique roof installation and repair job. Whether it's your own home or your company's building, Pyramid is the only call you need to make. 816-966-1101 or pyramidroofingkc.com.
Zarda Barbecue is teaming up with Hy-Vee and Legarius Sneed for a new sandwich, the KC Takeaway. Legarius, what's on that sandwich?
Thin sliced ham, fresh pulled pork, tender burnt ends, pepper jack cheese.
Score the KC Takeaway at all Hy-Vee Market Grill locations, or try the KC Takeaway at Zarda Barbecue in Blue Springs and Lenexa.
Plus a portion of the proceeds from every sandwich, so it will benefit big brothers, big sisters of Kansas City.
Zarda Barbecue, come get some.
Safe Money Scott here, founder of Village Planners. Did your investments take a bit of a hit last year? Can you afford a repeat of 2008? As a local Kansas City agency, Village Planners focuses on safe money concepts. With our accounts, when the market goes up, your money grows. When the market crashes, you don't lose a dime. When it bounces back, your money grows again without having to make up for the losses. We have accounts averaging double-digit growth the last 10 years. Visit our webpage at villageplanners.com to schedule an appointment today. That's villageplanners.com.
You know there's a reason that cannabis connoisseurs drive past a dozen or more dispensaries to shop at Relief Resources Dispensary in Grandview. Actually, there are lots of reasons, but 2 of them are Kansas City's only 2 ganjiers. Ganjiers are to cannabis what sommeliers are to wine. They're the master chocolatiers of marijuana. Certified experts who not only inspect and evaluate flower with a jewelry-grade magnifying lens, but also grade aroma, flavor, and experience. So when you walk into Relief Resources Dispensary, you're not only greeted by the region's best hand-curated selection of marijuana products, you're greeted by the region's only certified marijuana experts, able to match any med patient or recreational patient to the exact experience they're looking for. Are you a veteran? Thank you for your service, and ask about special discounts. Discounts are also available for seniors over 65, low-income med patients, and public safety workers with a med card. Priority checkout for med patients, too. Relief Resources Dispensary in Grandview on 71 Highway at 140th Street and online at reliefmo.com.
Saturday, ESPN Kansas City is bringing you special live coverage from Kansas Speedway of the Hollywood Casino 400. Get ready for NASCAR at Kansas Speedway with the Racing Boys Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott previewing all the action beginning at noon. Then at 2 o'clock, the green flag will fly, and we'll bring you all the action with live turn-by-turn coverage from MRN Radio. Your home for live race coverage of the Hollywood Casino 400 from Kansas Speedway. ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM and 94.5 FM.
Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Plus, all customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads to player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/Petro. That's FanDuel.com/Petro. And kick off the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. NFL Sunday Ticket offer ends 9/18/23. No refunds. Terms and embargoes apply. $100 off NFL Sunday Ticket. Not YouTube TV. YouTube TV base plan required to watch YouTube TV. Redemption requires a Google account and current form of payment. Commercial use excluded. Subscription renews. Cancel anytime.
The Freedom Loan, exclusive at Cap One Lending, beats your 3% mortgage. Here's why. It pays your principal first by eliminating interest, which allows you to pay your home off in less than half the time and gives you access to your home's equity without ever having to refinance. Call Cap One Lending, 816-905-1111, or apply at caponelending.com. We've been doing the Freedom Loan for nearly 20 years. Join the thousands who have paid their home off in half the time. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or paying off high-interest debt, it's worth a 5-minute call to Cap One Lending to see if the Freedom Loan is right for you. 816-905-1111. That's 905-1111. Or visit us at caponelending.com.
Cap One Lending, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
Cap One Lending, a Kansas licensed mortgage company, license number MC0026341, NMLS Missouri license 2468614. Programs and rates subject to change without notice.
I'm Dr. Andrew Palmisano, a fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeon with Ascentus Healthcare. Ascentus now has orthopedic surgery and sports medicine. Myself and Drs. E.J. Wilkinson and Nick Aberly are available for all of your orthopedic needs. Come see our state-of-the-art clinics during our walk-in hours featuring same-day and next-day appointments, Monday through Friday in Leawood and on Parallel Parkway in Kansas City. Call 913-395-0294, 913-395-0294 to book your appointment at Ascentus Healthcare today.
McKinnon is at the side of the quarterback, Mahomes. A shotgun snap is high. He backpedals, he sets and throws. Touchdown! Back of the end zone. Caught by the rookie Rice. Underneath the crossbar. And the Chiefs an extra point away from tying this season-opening game as Patrick Mahomes has thrown a touchdown pass culminating a 13-play drive.
Things felt better back then. Remember how exciting it was to see Rashee Rice get his first pro touchdown? Felt like the offense was coming together. Nope! That play was sweet nonetheless, though, so it's our sweet play of the game, brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Introducing Cannoli Thunder Concrete at Andy's Frozen Custard. This Italian stallion of flavors is made with fresh vanilla frozen custard, crispy cannoli shells, sweet cream filling, and chocolate chips. Go to eatandys.com for the location nearest you, and I would not blame you one bit if you needed a little custard to get going again tomorrow, because it's going to be a long weekend here in Kansas City, a long 10 days before they have a chance to wipe the taste of this season opening loss out of their mouth. They take on the Jags in week 2. We'll take you to the press conferences as they arrive, but it's time for the phone calls. We'll open it up from the top with Ryan. Ryan, you're on Sports Radio 810 WHB. How you doing, Ryan?
Hey, good. Well.
Yeah, I know. It was rhetorical.
Exactly. No, and Chris Jones on the sideline and Travis Kelce are on the sidelines and Chris Jones not. I don't care. It looks bad. Gets a bad taste in your mouth before the game starts. Kadarius Toney needs to make those plays, obviously. I think we need to, like you said, take advantage of the fourth down in short plays. It looks like we're going to have to be very creative this year. I don't think we have a number one. Other than that, we shouldn't have lost. Fake punt took us out of the game. Long story short, a lot of guys needed to step up. They didn't. And when you have a guy that got a lot of praise like Kadarius, and he's not catching the ball, and it's obvious that he didn't catch the ball today, what are we going to do? I guess somebody else has to step up. But it's been a long season. Mahomes was accurate. I guess that's the positive thing you can say. He was very accurate today. Yeah. And not his fault at all. It was not his fault. So other than that, still all kinds of pumped up for this season. But today, I think the boys could have done better. But other than that, I'll let you guys go. Thanks, guys.
Ryan, I appreciate it. Good to hear from you. Wish it would have been after a win, but you're right. And look, I mean, you talk about the heaping of praise thrown on Kadarius Toney. Look, man, he was the guy getting open. His skill set did stand out. He did, much like Andy Reid, he did the hard parts. He got open. He created separation. He found space. And he did everything except catch the football. Frustrating. Next we go to Gary. Gary, how you feeling?
Like I just got punched in the gut.
Yeah.
Well, I think you can go back to the offseason and look at some of the things that the Chiefs wished and hoped. Well, I know it's only one game, but when you wish and hope, what do you get? Because they hoped that the receivers they take a step. Yeah. They hoped Travis Kelce would stay healthy forever. You can go back to the first round of the draft where they were picking at number 30. They could have had Michael Mayer or Sam Laporta there at tight end, start grooming the successor. And you'd also have two guys that could block and play the position. Mm-hmm. But we had to go for a defensive end who will be nothing more than just a guy. And that's the way I feel about FAU. I'm just not a fan of his. I don't care if he was an All-American. He's another George Karlaftis. He'll never be anything special. He'll never do anything that's going to turn the table in a game. He's not going to be elite. When you could have had two of the top tight ends in the draft, they were sitting right there, and that's a big area of need. When you look at the age of Travis Kelce, and when you start to get older, the injuries start to happen a little more because the body doesn't heal as quickly as it used to, and they ignored it, wishing and hoping. And as far as Chris Jones goes, you know what? I'd let him rot. If he doesn't want to be here and he's still under contract, let him rot. I would just end all negotiations with him. I tell him we're done with you. We'll talk to you later. Just end all negotiations. That's the way he wants to play it. Then you can play hardball too, because the guy signing the checks has more power than the guy cashing them. But and as far as Andy Reid tonight, the getting cued on fourth down, just hand the ball to number 10 and let him get that tough yard. We got to get cued on. And who does he give the ball to on the fourth down? Kadarius Toney. Runs not with this, doesn't even get to turn his shoulders at the line of scrimmage. He's running towards the sideline. Next week, and I know this sounds cruel, but you know what, Patrick, when you see Andre Sisco, lead Kadarius over that way, because we can't put up with this. If he doesn't want to be here, I mean, you've got to catch those balls. You didn't do it. You think Jerry Rice would have dropped those balls? Tyreek Hill, yeah, he had his drops, but he doesn't drop balls in those situations. And if I were Patrick Mahomes, I would be going to Andy and I would be telling him, we can't have him out here. He's a liability. And as far as Andy goes, let's face it, he had a clown suit on tonight, guys. I mean, for everything he does great, he did. He had a clown suit on. These coaches are nothing more than highly paid gym teachers. They're not reinventing the wheel here. But, Andy did. He had a clown suit on tonight, and he needs to be questioned about some of the things he did tonight too. But nobody will question him on it because he walks on water. But you know what? Like I said, you can look back at the offseason, not drafting another tight end, not bringing in another veteran wide receiver, and letting your defensive tackles think he has control in the situation. I'll hang up and listen. Great show, Josh.
Gary, I appreciate you. You also know that there's always like a bookend. You're like the Katz brothers with Chris Jones in the middle, man. It's always like Gary makes like 3 great points. Gary says something kind of nuts. Gary makes some good points at the end again. It's an experience every time. I appreciate you calling in. Because look, I think this idea that the thing there that you said, Gary, that most speaks the rings of truth to me, is the Chiefs hoped that they had answers at wide receiver. Now, they invested in Rashee Rice. That was another investment, and second-round pick is not nothing. Would have been cool to have George Pickens. Think about that sometimes.
That is painful.
You know what's really painful? T. Higgins would look great in red.
Stop.
I can't. I never will. Someday. But ultimately, yeah, there was this feeling of we can hope that receivers take a step because we hope Travis Kelce stays healthy. And I don't look, again, if I had to bet right now, I'd bet Travis Kelce plays 16 games this year. That would be my hunch. I hope that's what we get. But the pass catchers minus Kelce failed the test today. And that's, if you want to point at Brett Veach or the coaching staff or the players themselves or spread it out, it's usually a little bit of everybody. And everyone except for Mahomes today, who literally threw a perfect ball to Kadarius Toney and it was picked off. It's so frustrating. But you get such a failing grade from all of your pass catchers that when the final score is 21-20, it doesn't really matter whose fault it is, because the end result was this is your group of pass catchers who are either not getting open or not completing the catch when they do. It's really frustrating. I think we may head out to Arrowhead here momentarily. So Rick, Butch, and Travis, you guys are all next up, but want to let you hear from the folks at Arrowhead when we have a chance to. It looks like there may be people coming in. Plus, we'll hear from the locker room a little bit later on as well. I already saw that Steven was there around Mike Dana, so we'll bring you some more audio as the night goes on. I think it might be Nick Bolton on the way in. So we'll head out to Arrowhead here on the Sports Radio 10 WHB postgame show to hear from Chiefs linebacker Nick Bolton.
Defense gives up 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of questions coming in. How are you going to be able to account for Chris Jones not being there? On balance, are you pretty happy with the way you guys played against an offense that was top 10 in the NFL last year?
We lost a football game. So I think it's kind of when we measure yourself out, especially in this league. Games are won in inches in a couple situations throughout the stretch, and we just didn't execute good enough. You could kind of say gave up 14 points, good start and all that, but ultimately we lost a football game. Our goals come out here 1-0 this week, and that didn't happen. So back to the drawing board. The guys be better. Be ready to go for Jacksonville.
What was Andy's message in the locker room after the game?
Yeah, man, we kind of hopped on discipline throughout. We kind of pride ourselves on situational football, things we do throughout the week, kind of get us ready. And for some point throughout the game, both sides of the ball, special teams just didn't execute. So it just comes down to guys being locked in those situations and just finding a way to get out the field on defense for sure.
Nick, got that stop on 4th and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Did you sort of picture this is familiar territory and that you guys would convert it into a victory? Did it have that feel to it?
Yeah, man. Again, our offense, man, has given us a reason to believe, man, they're the best in the league in what they do. So regardless of how the game goes, they didn't get any chance to football, but they got a chance to score. So we had 100% faith that we can get a stop, find a way to get our offense back to the ball. Even in the last 2 minutes, we had an opportunity to get the offense back to the ball. We just couldn't do it. So they're going to score the football. We'll have a lot of faith that those guys are going to come back next week hungry, going to figure out what they have to do on that side of the ball. And it was up to us on our side of the ball to kind of maintain what we did this week and also just find ways to get better. Tackling is going to be at the top of the board.
Justin in the locker room made a point of saying that this
game sort of a reality check.
Yeah.
Does that have that feel to it for you too?
Yeah. Again, all the pregame festivities and guys coming in here, Super Bowl, won Super Bowl, all that type of stuff. Reality check is that's last year. This is this year. We got 17 opportunities to put our best foot forward. We lost one of those today. We got 16 more.
Nick, the line in front of you looked pretty disruptive, particularly with Dana and Felix.
Yeah.
What did you see in front of you when it came to just the pressure you guys were able to maintain?
Yeah, I saw what I saw from those guys all training camp, all into these last couple of weeks. Those guys work hard every single day to put themselves in the best position possible to make plays. I think today's just a product of those guys doing what they're asked to do in the scheme and just finding ways to be effective. I don't expect that to stop, especially when we get Chris back. Man, it's going to be a great addition to add to that D-line. And those guys are hungry, man. They're going to keep working.
When you're out there playing tonight, did you feel like you were missing Chris doing some of the things he did? That guys fought really hard, but he's tough to replace, right?
Yeah, ultimately, a guy of Chris Cobb is always going to be hard to replace. But I feel like those guys, man, who come in the locker room every single day and give their hardest, man, they deserve to be respected. They come in every single day and put their best foot forward. They heard all the talk about Chris not being here and all that type of stuff. And those guys went out there and put their heart out. So that's all you can ask for. And then, again, those guys are just as talented, man. They come in every single day. I try to be better, dominate the scheme, dominate the one-on-ones, and find a way to get pressure. And that's all you can ask for.
What was the biggest challenge that they had with the run game? I mean, Gibbs was out there a little bit,
Mm.
change of pace. What were the biggest problems or hurdles for you guys?
Yeah, I think our biggest problem is tackling, leaky yards, yards with the contact. Kind of fine about it. I don't see them on here, but I understand that they have a couple of gains that kind of 2-yard gains still made it, kind of got to 4 or 5 yards after contact and gave them favorable second downs. And we knew going into the week that we got them in 3rd and shorts, man. That's like 2nd and short for those guys, and they're going to go for it, aggressive mindset. So we just got to find a way to get in 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs, give our D-line a chance to go rush the passer and let our secondary cover.
Yes, thanks, man.
Yep, thank you.
There's Nick Bolton live from Arrowhead here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. Sports Radio 810 WHB post-game show. I'm Joshua Briscoe. Dylan Michaels on the side of the glass. Appreciate Covell Hudson on the production side as well. We'll see if anybody else comes out to the podium. It looks like, by what I'm seeing, are they going one and done? We're gonna hear from Bolton and nobody else. Kind of looks that way. But Lebo and SSJ have been in the locker room and got some audio there as well that we'll bring you later on today, in addition to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, because I certainly think that hearing from the offense is the more important thing here today, because I appreciate everything Nick Bolton said there. This game's not on them at all. Again, genuinely, like think back for a second. If I said the Chiefs gave up 21 points in this game, I would have taken that in a heartbeat. I imagine you would have too. But the actual cause of those points was one long offensive drive, one pick six, and one long offensive drive that was briefly interrupted by a 4th down conversion on a fake punt. It's really hard for me to have any vitriol whatsoever for this defense. Yes, there was extra juice that would have been there with Chris Jones that was not there without him. Has nothing to do why they didn't win this game. Ultimately, just nothing. And look, Gary mentioned it earlier in some harsher terms, but if you're the Chiefs, I was going to say that maybe I've actually been kind. I don't think I have been. I think I've been pretty straightforward with how I feel about all of this, and I still feel like I'm holding at about 80% capacity here. But just an outrageous miscalculation by the Katz brothers. Maybe an outrageous miscalculation by the Chiefs. But we saw in this game tonight, here's what happened. Chris Jones was in the building, saw the banner, the crowd, Chiefs football, voluntarily, and look, man, I'm team pay the player. I'm also team I love Chris Jones. I've continuously been team pay Chris Jones. That's still what I think the best case scenario is for the Chiefs. Get Chris Jones on a long-term deal. But if you're agents, and the two biggest parts of your job are contract negotiation and public image, take your report card home. Bring your parents back and have them sign it. Honestly. Because you have your press conference in front of Ronald McDonald House. You show up to the game that you're choosing not to play in. which is his contractual right. He is foregoing game checks. It cost him $1 million to sit in that skybox tonight. $1 million. I still have no personal vitriol for Chris Jones. But a wild miscalculation to sit in that box while Travis Kelce has to put a towel over his head on the sideline late in the game because you know his face is giving away how he feels. The team falls apart, several different levels, but the defense holds its own. While a guy who has absolutely earned the money that the Chiefs have offered to him and most of the money that he's asked for, watches from above, bookended by his two agents who can't seem to combine for one finalized contract. With the thought of, maybe if it's just Jared Goff all day in the pocket, Lions put up 40 points, maybe Brett Veach will come groveling back tomorrow, ready to offer the Nick Bosa contract plus a penny just to apologize for being disrespectful. That's not happening. We knew that wasn't going to happen before this game kicked off. And what actually happened is that all of Chiefs Kingdom has one image in mind of Chris Jones and the Katz brothers right now. Maybe two. The two images are standing in front of a Ronald McDonald House, having a press conference saying you just want to raise like anybody else, which, man, listen, again, I'm on Chris Jones' side through 90, pun intended, 95% of this stuff, I'm on Chris Jones' side. But when he gets to the podium at a charity event and says, I just want to raise, just like you'd want to raise, just how you would handle it, fan watching from home, just factually incorrect and horrible self-sabotage. And then the next time Chiefs fans see you, the only two times they see you other than on Instagram, the next time they see you, you're between your two agents in a suite watching your team lose while you choose not to help. And the defense is actually not the problem. So now Chiefs fans can look at you and say, hey man, you wouldn't have solved this today anyway. Kick rocks. I wish the Chiefs would have traded you and signed DeAndre Hopkins with the couch cushion change left over. That's like a semi-reasonable thing for Chiefs fans to say today. And if anyone would have said that 2 months ago, I would have called them a fool. So I hate to make the post-game show about Chris Jones too, for a game he didn't play in. But I'm so frustrated by the fact that we're at this point. You have months to figure out how much money you can get paid without missing a football game. Months to make that happen. Why would I feel bad now that, they just ran out of time? They were just, they had a fifth quarter. Chiefs win that football game, and Chris Jones would have played it. Just needed a little more time. Call Drew Rosenhaus and ask him to remind you how to orchestrate a trade like he did for Tyreek Hill to get him to Miami. Or take the best deal that's there when you have actual leverage of any sort. Or just a healthy relationship. And again, this game, this is where it's like gallows humor funny if you're a Chiefs fan. And if you're sick of this conversation, then I promise we're done. I promise we're going to go back to the phones. I'm going to stop talking about Chris Jones and the Katz brothers. But the sick laugh you could have at all of this as a Chiefs fan is say, I hope you're happy. If Jones is the engine or if the Katzes are the engine, I don't know. But hey, hope you're happy with how things went here. Because you held out through all of this. You didn't show up for week 1. You watched from the stands. We lost. You wouldn't have saved us anyway. And we're all mad now. Everyone's angry anyway. It's just malpractice, and at this point, maybe I should let it go. And also, by the way, it's still bad for Chris Jones long term if he holds out any longer than this. 1 game is still bad for him long term. 8 games would be a bleeping disaster. A disaster for what his franchise tag next year would be, for what he makes this year, for the rest of his career earnings. Malpractice should end in the NFLPA intervening if he's on the sidelines in week 6, 7, and 8. Really, I mean, actual malpractice. Anyway, I'm going to hit the phones again. And you're going to be tempted to tell me that you don't want to hear me talk about Chris Jones anymore. But I'm telling you in advance, I'm not going to do it anymore. Tonight. Just really frustrating. I think he's got the wrong people in charge of this conversation. Next up here, we go to Rick. Rick, you're on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Appreciate your holding, Rick. What's on your mind?
Hey, Josh. My comments will be in line with everybody else. It's the receivers play, or more accurately, lack thereof, that blew this game. You knew with all the new faces and the young guys out there that this was going to be a work in progress, but I didn't expect to see that. Do you have a count on the number of drop passes? I mean, was it 6 or?
I don't yet. I will look for that. And
then the other thing, and this is a thing about Coach Reid. I mean, it's definite Hall of Famer.
Yep.
They wouldn't have any other coach. But sometimes, all the creative stuff in short yardage situations, just slam it up the middle every now and then,
Yeah.
It just, I think with Reid, it's the unusual play, that would be slamming it up the middle, because now it's at a point where everybody's expecting him to do some, end around razzmatazz thing with 3rd and 1 or whatever the situation is. Anyway, onward and upward. So hopefully that receiver core will improve. I'll listen to your comments off the air.
Rick, I appreciate it. There was a tweet here from Nate Taylor as I was looking for the drop number, and he said the Chiefs had 5 or 6 drops tonight. There are 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I think they legitimately may have. Is it possible they hit double digits? Did Mahomes even have double-digit incompletions? Yeah, oh God, 18. That seems right. I don't look at the box scores very, very frequently until deep into the show at times. So sometimes I'm surprised by the stat lines. Just kind of a fun little twist. With 18 incompletions, I think we'll have an actual drop number tomorrow, if not later tonight. But the Chiefs may have actually dropped double-digit passes. That's outrageous. Curtis Siebold just tweeted, think about this. If Kadarius Toney had swatted every pass thrown to him straight to the ground, like he was a defensive back, the Chiefs win. How?
I don't want to hear that.
How is it? But he's right.
That's why I don't want to hear
You
it.
don't want to hear the truth. Unbelievable. I mean, look, it's beaten into the dirt at this point. What a weird game.
The best thing is that this is 1 out of 17, like Bolton said. Obviously, that is the only positive takeaway.
Offensive line was great.
And that, too.
And the defense without Chris Jones was pretty good.
As much as Collinsworth was trying to get that false start flag, he got it eventually. But the offensive line looked great. I agree.
It looked great until the thing you were scared of for Juwan Taylor and Donovan Smith at the end, and then they fall into that, and you just get the worst moments at the worst times, and that's fine. This one's gonna stick with people for a while.
Is it tough?
And I am people.
Me too.
Butch is up next. Hey, Butch, it's been a while. Good to hear from you. What do you got for me though today, Butch?
Hey, restore the roar, huh?
You can't do that, Butch. You got a line.
Hey, man, I find that this is comedy at this point, all right? This is better than Netflix. Look, this is, the thing about these sort of banner raises, they cut both ways, right? It's great when you're the home team and you're expecting the other team to fold. It's another thing when you have a bunch of young guys out there and this ain't training camp no more and they need to make a couple plays for you. I think the lights got a little too bright, y'all. And that happens. That's part of the way this game works. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of a bunch of games. It reminds me of 2019 against the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
No Sammy, no Tyreek Hill. What happened? You can't beat man coverage.
Mm-hmm.
What happened tonight? You let that team play you middle field closed on your home field and you couldn't beat it? You couldn't get them with a couple? You have a couple bad. Man, that's tough. They're going to look back on this tape and say, man, we let them man us up, guys. That's tough. That's part of your pride as a receiver. Nobody can man you up, especially in this league. And when it happens, that's rough. Hey, Andy Reid, All right, maybe he puckered up a little bit. You know what that reminds me of? 2011.
Yep.
Philadelphia Eagles. Nick Foles at quarterback playing against Washington. Andy could sense it. Went into a shell. That's what it reminds me of, guys. And look, I'm not ready to tank for Marvin Harrison Jr. yet. I was maybe close to it when Kadarius Toney dropped up. I'm not ready for it yet, though. So, look, it's week 1. They'll go back and they'll look at this and they'll say to themselves 2 things. 1, the wide receiver rotation probably needs to get cut down just a little bit because you had some guys out there cooking. Others weren't. Who knows, maybe in the future you need to kind of ride the hot hand a little bit. Boy, I bet you Amir Smith-Marset is laughing his behind off right now. and the second thing I think that they'll do, when they look at this game, they'll say to themselves, when games get tough like this, we need to find the 1 or 2 guys that will say to themselves, give me the rock.
Yep.
Because right now this looks like a team that's just, okay, Andy's going to call the play. Where do I need to be? Okay, where's my landmark? They look overthinking-ish. No. Give me the ball. And that needs to happen more sooner than later. Because if Travis Kelce doesn't come back, I don't even want to think about it because they can't start 0-2. Till next time.
Butch, I appreciate you, brother.
Can I add someone that might be grinning ear to ear at home right now?
Yeah,
His
who
name
knows?
might be Eric Bieniemy, I think. He might be extremely happy right now.
I bet that Eric Bieniemy is actually fuming. But I see your point.
I think we're on the same page.
Yes,
of
we are.
emotions of
Yes.
why they're feeling those emotions.
Yes, 100%. I think Eric Bieniemy probably should have his name mentioned right now. I also don't think this is all like Matt Nagy's fault. I think
No. I was saying more. It's like, he made a difference. Made a bit of a difference.
Yes, I absolutely. I think because Eric Bieniemy cares so damn much and he knows all these dudes, he's furious because he is imagining what the locker room would have been like if he was in it. But I know exactly what you're saying, Dylan. I don't think you're wrong. I just think it's 2 sides of the same coin. And how is Eric Bieniemy processing all of this? There was one other thing there that I wanted to take from Butch, but it slipped my mind. Always good to hear from you, Butch. Just would love to be able to savor the flavor again. But I don't want to savor the flavor of this one, and we're still going to taste it for the next 10 days. Next up, we got Travis. Travis, you're on the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. What's on your mind, man?
What's up, JB? So here's my thing. Like, the receivers were – I mean, I've never been so frustrated in a game than I think I was tonight. I mean, we 100% should have won this game. I've never seen a bigger example of he can't throw it and catch it too in my life.
Yes.
I mean, Pat really did do – I mean, he missed a couple throws, but, I mean, even if they would have been 100% on target, did we have any confidence those guys would have even caught it?
No. No.
And I'm going to make 2 quick points, and then I'll let you go. So when Kelce comes back, based on what we saw tonight, will it help? Yes, but it's not going to solve the problem.
Yeah.
We still have wide receivers who don't get separation, and then when they do, they can't catch a football. Just because Travis Kelce's on the field, that doesn't fix either one of those issues. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
It gives Mahomes a safety blanket, but it doesn't fix the fact that we don't have a number 1 or a number 2 wide receiver on this team right now. We are playing with 3s and 4s. Like, if you look at some of these other teams out there, we don't really have a standout wideout. And I'm afraid and I'm nervous that we're starting to tread down Aaron Rodgers territory with Pat. And what I mean by that is we keep thinking he can go out and do it, and we keep giving him, hand-me-downs to try to go out and score. Can he do it? Yeah. Is it fun to watch him do it? Absolutely. Should we be doing it? Absolutely not. 100% not. They should be doing everything that they can to bring in better wide receivers who can play the position and keep the offense going. The offense is what makes this team work. And if the offense isn't working, you're not going to win games. I think they need to reevaluate how they evaluate the wide receiver and their approach in free agency, because what they're doing I don't think works.
Travis,
and that is all I got for you, my man.
Look, man, it's nice to have a Travis contributing tonight. That's not a shot at Travis Kelce. It's just that I'm happy to have a Travis involved. Appreciate the call, man, because I think you're right. And the one thing I don't want to be revisionist about is that in back-to-back years, they've spent second-round picks on wide receivers. But Travis didn't say they're not trying. Travis said they need to reevaluate what they're doing here. And when you talk about, and look, one game this season, I'm not completely out on Sky Moore. And here's the other thing that I would lay out before it totally spirals beyond all ability to reclaim it. I don't think Sky Moore is going to drop like 80% of his targets this year. And Kadarius Toney hasn't been this. So I have reason to believe that regressing to the mean is at least a little better for Kadarius Toney, and theoretically should get a lot better for Sky Moore. Rashee Rice got more involved tonight than I was expecting him to, honestly. So I don't think we're at that point of, it's Aaron Rodgers. And again, Travis, you didn't say that. You said you don't want to see it get there. And I think having your eye on that is completely fair. What they did give to Mahomes was an excellent pass-blocking offensive line, and I do think that having Kelce, the gravitational force that he is, having Kelce does make every other pass catcher's life a lot easier. But I don't know that the core problem gets fixed when he returns. I think that's the right angle from Travis. It also reminded me of what Butch mentioned that I wanted to circle back to real quick. Then we got to take a break. We got a full board of calls. We got Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and Matt Derrick all coming to you over the course of the show here tonight. But Butch said, who wants the rock? And what we saw tonight was a clear answer for what Patrick Mahomes does when he knows you gotta have it. He tucked it. Took it himself. Which he's able to do. I thought that was going to be a part of it tonight. I had a couple of bets that shouldn't have been parlays that were. Nobody cares about that. I understand. But I financially believed in Patrick Mahomes over 25 rushing yards. He led the team with 45. The O-line created space. Receivers went down the field. Didn't get open. He waited, and took off. Travis Kelce obviously gives you a chance to have a real, third down option. But who else should he trust right now? Because I don't think Sky Moore was getting open, and Kadarius Toney was getting open and then handing the ball to the Lions, or just to the ground. So what do you do? Who do you rely on? I don't know the answer. And upsettingly enough, I don't think Patrick Mahomes knows the answer right now either. We'll hear from him. We'll hear from Andy Reid. We'll keep taking your calls and continue chugging along here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. Joshua Briscoe with you here. Dylan Michaels, the voice you heard a moment ago from the other side of the glass. Other side of the class. It's like a classroom in here. We're teaching the world about going for it on 4th and short. Kyle and Covell producing the effort around the building here as well. A whole lot more to unpack. We'll keep doing that next in the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show.
You're listening to live postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk.
15-10-5, touchdown Kansas.
Leave the wheat right here every week as the Jayhawks continue to climb up the Big 12 ladder.
And the party's underway.
Join us this Friday as the Jayhawks welcome the Fighting Illini to David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. Pregame begins at 5 on your home for Kansas Jayhawk football.
The Jayhawks play here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I'm here at the ballpark with Brad McGee from LBA Home Services. Brad, you look annoyed.
Just look at all those people leaving the game early. There's an inning and a half left.
I see what you mean. Those fans are being shortchanged.
They're not getting the perfect baseball experience.
All 9 innings.
Exactly. It's like when we install a tankless water heater, your shower should be hot right to the end.
The perfect shower experience.
And you should never be cut short because the water goes cold.
Even if you have teenagers who can sometimes use a lot of hot water.
Makes no difference. Remember, I work at LBA Home Services, and perfect is our minimum standard.
So you believe everyone should have the perfect shower experience.
Not just me. Everyone at LBA thinks this way. Having your water go cold is like
missing the last inning and a half of the ball game.
Anything less than perfect is unacceptable. Come on, batter, swing.
One simple idea, one name to remember.
Just remember LBA.
LBAservices.com.
At Ace, their helpful folks know you've got everyday things you need to take care of around the house. But did you know they can help with your business too? Find all of their locations online at westlakehardware.com. Running your business just got easier with Westlake Commercial. Tito's handmade vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch. Root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. No matter who's on your roster, lineup, or lucky jersey, make Tito's your first round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at titosvodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Kevin Harlan here. Ann and I loved our new Champion heating and cooling system this past summer.
Our house was always a perfect temperature, and it was so quiet. The humidity control worked like a champion.
And Annie, our energy savings and lower bills came true just like Champion said they would.
Now we're looking forward to keeping our family warm this winter with our Champion Premium Furnace.
Get peak performance in your home by finding a local Champion dealer at championhomecomfort.com. Always leading,
never compromising.
Daniels will keep, and he will waltz in behind the left tackle. It's a touchdown. Jalen Daniels.
Kansas football fans, the Jayhawks are home again on September 8th. Join us as the Jayhawks take on Illinois on Friday, September 8th at 6:30 p.m. in David Booth Kansas Memorial Stadium. Come early to join in on all the fun with the Family Zone and entertainment on the hill before the game. Visit KUathletics.com or call 800-34-HAWKS to secure your tickets today.
At Central Bank, we know every journey and spark of inspiration has a starting point. It's practice, persistence, and the support of an entire community. As a proud community banking partner of Sporting KC, Central Bank is there for every step of the journey. Because we believe the dreams we pursue together have the greatest impact. And with Sporting Checking and the official Sporting debit card, you can be the inspiration. Visit sportingchecking.com or stop by the nearest Central Bank branch to get started. Member FDIC.
Kevin Harlan here. Ann and I loved our new Champion heating and cooling system this past summer.
Our house was always a perfect temperature, and it was so quiet. The humidity control worked like a champion.
And Annie, our energy savings and lower bills came true just like Champion said they would.
Now we're looking forward to keeping our family warm this winter with our Champion Premium Furnace.
Get peak performance in your home by finding a local Champion dealer at championhomecomfort.com. Always leading,
never compromising.
Window tinting looks cool and all, but did you know it also protects you and your passengers from cancerous UV rays? This is Stephen St. John. Whether you are looking for tinting for your car, home, or business, Midwest Tinting is the best in Kansas City. As the leading XPEL paint protection installers in the area, they are here to make sure your car is protected from all the sand, salt, and debris on the road. Check out one of their 3 convenient locations in Overland Park, Lee Summit, and Independence. Call 913-384-COOL to learn more.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa. Now through September 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gig internet plus unlimited data for just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract when you add Xfinity Mobile. Go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires pre-bill bill and an auto-pay or stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular supply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, this is Les Norman, host of the Breaking the Norm Show. I want to invite you to join me Saturdays at 7 a.m. on Sports Radio 810 and Tuesdays on ESPN Kansas City 94.5 FM for uplifting and positive sports stories and a whole lot more. We can all use a boost to our day, so why not be motivated and inspired by the stories of the good side of sports, entertainment, and life? There's a whole lot of good out there. Every week, now in our 12th year, it's Breaking the Norm, presented by TruckMovers.com and First Federal Bank of Kansas City.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health to let you know that you don't have to take Viagra for the rest of your life.
Acoustic wave therapy has changed the game. Trust me, I've seen guys come in who have completely given up, only to see them back in the game after going through our treatment program. So call West Coast Men's Health today.
Call 913-243-3200. That's 913-243-3200. 913-243-3200. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
At the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End All Alzheimer's, walking means so much more. It means fighting for a different future, for families facing the disease today, for treatments. Because when you take part in a Walk to End Alzheimer's, you're not just walking, you're fighting to stop the disease. We're closer than ever, but to get there, we need you. Join us for the world's largest fundraiser to fight the disease. Register today at alzwalkkc.org. That's alzwalkkc.org. Hey, Kansas City, SSJ here. Fall's right around the corner, and football season is here. As you cheer on your favorite football team, why not freshen up that garage with concrete floor coatings? Polymagic offers over 100 color combinations, which can be applied to the concrete in your garage, porch, patio, pool area, and even basement floor. I had Polymagic transform my garage floor, and I was blown away. Call Polymagic for a free estimate, 816-765-4800, or visit them at polymagic.net.
This Sunday, it's an NFL opening weekend triple header on Sports Radio 810 WHB. It kicks off at noon as the 49ers head to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. At 3, Tua, Tyreek, and the Dolphins are in Los Angeles to face Justin Herbert and the Chargers. It all wraps up with an NFC East showdown as the Giants head to the Jerry Dome to meet the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. It's all right here on your home for the National Football League, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Need to restock after Labor Day? From the Earth has got you covered. Buy any two of Illicit's premium cannabis cartridges and get the third for free. This offer is valid from today until Thursday, so don't miss out. Choose from Illicit's live resin carts, their unique classy carts, or their live rosin options. All Illicit cartridges are made from dental-grade ceramics and real glass, with 100% organic Japanese cotton absorption cores. When you want quality, choose Illicit.
39 in Detroit. Mahomes at 2 tight ends and under center with a 2nd down and 5. The snap, the spin, the fake handoff, drops back deep, stands to the 50, line drive to the numbers. It's caught on the near side by Valdez-Scantling, the former Packer. Caught it and spun on the hash down at the 25 of Detroit. 14-yard pickup. Mahomes right on the screws. First down, Kansas City.
A truly stupendous throw from Patrick Mahomes, a great catch from MVS. Unfortunately, will be lost to history, but not lost tonight, because that is our Magic Mahomes moment of the game, brought to you by Westlake Hardware. Westlake Commercial, a division of Westlake Ace Hardware, is your local business-to-business supply partner. Their commercial team, dedicated to business-to-business website and credit terms and convenience store locations, make it easy. Visit your local Westlake Ace Hardware store or westlakehardware.com/commercial today. We'll go back to the phones here. We're going to have to keep things relatively fast-paced, faster paced than the Chiefs' offense felt like it was going tonight. Hello, I make jokes because I'm sad.
Zing.
Zing right back to myself. Zing into my own soul. Zing into my sadness. Zinging back over to the phones. We'll keep it moving and then hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Mike Dana, some others, and then Matt Derrick later on tonight as well. But Dan's been on hold. Dan, I appreciate you waiting, sir. How you feeling?
Feeling kind of frustrated, but pretty good. You know, it was not the result I was looking for, but you know, it was a good first touchdown by Rashid Rice, and Blake Bell with the touchdown. And boy, Kadarius Toney, how do you drop that first one that hits you right in the hands of you, and you ricochet to Brian Bench, and he runs it back for the touchdown. And the second one, after we got the stop, I mean, great throw by Patrick, just to concentrate. You wasn't even looking at the ball, Joshua, but I think they'll bounce back. They'll learn from this, and let's take care of the Jaguars. Take care of yourself, Joshua.
Dan, I appreciate you, sir. Always good to hear from you. Always sad when it comes after a loss, and we have to go through the itemized list of where things fell apart. I mean, just you said it, Dan. Other callers have said it. I've said it. Dylan said it. Check my phone. I think my mom said it. It's just a disastrous night for Kadarius Toney, which is all right. Here, I said we got to keep it quick. Here's my spin zone for you, real fast. Okay. Here's just a hilarious, sickening thing. if Kadarius Toney catches the footballs that hit him in both hands, which was at least 2 of his drops, including the pick 6, maybe more, and one of them that hit him in his bleep. He had 2 hit him in both hands, and 1 hit him below the belt. If he catches those 3 passes, not only are we talking about the Kadarius Toney game in a different way, we are still talking about the Kadarius Toney game. Because it would have been moving the chains, keeping the drive moving, the only receiver getting open. Mahomes probably goes back to him more often. I mean, if Kadarius Toney just catches the footballs that hit him in the most catchable places, no circus catches or anything like that, we are talking about Kadarius Toney, wide receiver 1. This is not me telling you that we should treat him that way right now, because that's not what happened. But it adds a layer of frustration. Back to the phones. Andy has been waiting on hold for a while. Andy, why didn't you go for it on 4th and short with Patrick Mahomes, Andy?
I actually don't know why I didn't go for it.
Oh, sorry. Wrong Andy, man. That's my bad. I thought maybe you had the answers. What's up? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling all right. There's 2 things I want to discuss. First of all, why don't we have a wide receiver core that can actually do anything? And why didn't we trade for anything in the offseason when we knew this was coming? Second of all, I want to talk about why the fact that tight ends in fantasy football are even a thing. Like, why are they a thing? I want to get away from – no. Because the reason I want to bring that up is that this is obviously we're talking about the football game, which was a horrible result.
Yeah.
But I also want to bring a kind of a rainbow and everything else.
Sure.
To say, why are tight ends a thing in fantasy football? Anybody?
I don't know. I don't know what the second phase. I feel like there's a knock joke here. Who's there?
It's not a knock joke. It's literally like trying to get away from the fact that we just lost a big football game.
Yeah.
And so I figured, why not bring it up? Why are tight ends a thing in fantasy
a distinct standalone thing, right? Instead of just rolling them in with like receivers or something?
Yeah, correct. I mean,
Okay,
why
yeah.
not just make it a flex spot?
One of my leagues has like a bunch of flex spots. It makes it a little bit chaotic, but I'm down. I don't mind playing 2 tight ends, no tight ends, whatever. Andy, listen, I support your new take on fantasy football and adjusting things accordingly. I feel like we're ready for a shakeup in the fantasy football space. And honestly, now that we're talking about it, I do feel a little bit better than I did talking about the Chiefs actually losing. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Me too.
I feel like we got to get away from the fact it's a negative thing.
Yeah.
It was a bad loss. But we got to get away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
The next week's going to be a thing, and we're going to win. Unfortunately, we lost this week, which we all knew going into. We were down defense. We were down Kelce. I mean, it just wasn't good.
Yeah, it was a mess, Andy, and I appreciate it. I will not blame you. The other Andy has more of my ire today, and all he's done is win 2 Super Bowls in the last few years. So, I mean, it's all complicated. That is actually part of it. Like, it is just complex. It's difficult to navigate through one of the greatest coaches of all time who has some inexplicably frustrating blind spots.
They all do.
Everybody does. Everybody does. We talked some in the zone earlier in the offseason about like some of the rumblings in New England of like, is Bill Belichick on the hot seat? And it's not a crazy question.
No.
But it's a crazy question. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's not practically a crazy question. But oh my God, what do you mean? Are you going to fire Bill Belichick? You idiot? Oh, well, what if they don't make the playoffs like 4 years in a row? Well, I don't know. Maybe he does need to do something else. That is the complexity of all of this. And it is also credit to the Lions, whose defense did not let Chiefs receivers get open other than Kadarius Toney, and they took advantage of the opportunities that were there for them. I'm sure Andy Reid said this in his presser that we'll hear in a little bit, but like there are other teams trying too. The other team is pretty good too. And he's right. Or he would be right if he did say that today. I think he probably would have. He says stuff like that a lot. It really is difficult when you're going up against, an actual opponent that's trying to do the exact opposite of what you're trying to accomplish. But it's still really frustrating. And a good reminder from caller Andy that we should all have other hobbies.
And also, just to piggyback off Andy's point, at least our loss to the Lions didn't end our season and lose us our Hall of Fame quarterback. We're not the Packers, so it could always be worse, Chiefs fans. We get more football. It's not over.
That's
and
true.
Also, it's not an AFC team, so.
I still think they win the AFC West, and I still think they're probably the odds-on favorite to be the 1 seed in the AFC. This changes that, but I think it's still probably true. Wild, man.
And every team that we're competing against could go home or go on Sunday and lose. So nobody knows what's going to happen yet. It's always week 1, and there was a great comment here on Twitch that said it's not week 1 unless we overreact to everything.
Let's react to one more phone call here before we take another quick timeout and go to George. George, how you feeling, sir?
Well, I don't feel very good for the wide receiver coach.
No kidding.
I don't feel very good for David Tobe allowing the 4th and short play get away from him.
He's mad on the sidelines a lot.
He didn't see that coming.
No. Or he did, and the rest of it, and it didn't get to the team in time. Either way, it looked like a vein was going to pop.
That needs to be questioned.
Yep.
Well, you could be watching the Royals right now. That could be worse.
No, I couldn't. Be realistic.
It could be preseason game 4.
It could. That might be worse.
So just think about those as your happy thought. I never present a problem without a solution.
Yes.
Okay. So no, he whose name shall not be mentioned shall not be mentioned.
Okay, deal.
But the solution is he represented a very nice charity the other day when he made his little faux pas.
Mm-hmm.
The sacks for sacks, or
Big Mac for sacks, all that. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, so every check that he's forfeiting, donate it to the charity.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. I meant to look this up a while ago, George, in terms of where the fines go in the NFL, because a lot of those end up going to charity, but this is a forfeited game check, and so I don't know exactly how that one goes, but I like the idea a lot, George. I really do.
Public relations issue for him at that point. Not that he doesn't need any more help in that area, but no, just say, thank you for sitting out the game. The kids love you.
Yes, and they should. It would be going to a good cause.
Enjoy your evening. Catch you next week when hopefully the sunshine will be brighter down in Jacksonville.
It certainly should be because that game kicks off at noon, so at least it'll still be up when we do the post-game show. I was going to hear from you, George. I appreciate you. You know what? Let's go ahead and sneak in our last call, at least for a little bit here. We've got a lot of. We want you to hear from Reid and Mahomes, and I think we've got all that ready to go, and then Matt Derrick later on. So we'll keep taking calls, and we might take some calls tomorrow morning in the zone. We usually do that Mondays after Chiefs games. So if you got, there'll be a lot of chances for you to make your feelings be known. Also, I could tell just by the way that Dylan has looked up at the computer above his head back there that I think I've not been able to monitor them myself today very closely, and for that I apologize. We'll get better at this as the year goes on, Dylan, where you can really just highlight some of the highlights, because from what I can divine from Dylan's facial expressions, the Twitch and YouTube and Facebook chats have all been popping off in a pretty major way tonight. Is that accurate, Dylan?
Very accurate. It is very entertaining.
Has one of them recently? Let's do this for me. Let's hear from Cruz on hold right now, and then see if you can. We'll highlight some comments maybe next segment. Cruz, appreciate you waiting on hold, man. What's going on?
Oh, thanks, Josh. Yeah, I'll try to be quick. First of all, congrats on the new podcast.
Thank you.
I love it. I was a huge fan of Times Ours, so congrats on Only Weird Games. I love it, and I can't tell you how excited I was when my buddy let me know that was a thing. So
I appreciate it. I appreciate that very much. I wish we didn't have such a weird game to kick off the year with, but c'est la vie.
Well, it goes with the namesake.
It sure does.
Hey, so I guess my biggest point tonight is, it's easy to say wide receivers kind of let us down tonight, obviously.
Yep.
But I feel like maybe you let me know if I'm being, I don't know, arrogant might be the wrong word, but I'm going a level deeper. I think that coaching was okay for the most part, but when there was 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we settled for that field goal at 4th and 1.
Yeah,
you got to go for it. You're right there.
100%.
Because what do? You go up 20-14, and there's 4 minutes left. That's not good enough for me. And it turned out to be correct.
Yep.
So I don't know. I just feel like we need to be a little bit more aggressive, especially when we know that our receivers have butter on their fingers.
Mm-hmm. So
you got to adjust mid-game or end game, I guess.
Yeah.
So, it's a little frustrating, and, I know we're going to figure it out. I think we win next week. Not a big deal. But secondly, and finally, we can't rely on Kelce and Jones being here. Kelce's going to be gone at some point within the next couple of years, so we got to figure that out. And I know Mahomes can do it, but his receivers have to catch the ball. And I think they're going to figure it out. I think he's going to be on their butts. And I think we're going to be fine. But, man, what a frustrating first game of the season. And, we'll see how it goes. But I appreciate your show, appreciate the podcast, and thank you, as always, for taking my call.
Cruz, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for all the kind words and a lot of good thoughts and good questions there. In terms of coaching adjustments, absolutely. I think that in real time you realize what's going wrong. Again, I feel for the coaching staff and for Mahomes when you realize that, again, like Kadarius Toney is the guy who is getting open, and then he's the one whose gloves appear to be coated in butter. I don't know what I would have done to adjust there, because a lot of times what you do is you go heavier personnel with your tight ends, your 13 personnel. That way you can run it more and you can still throw to these guys. Well, that changes when Travis Kelce's not out there. You have 7 receivers active. Can you use more Justin Ross? I don't know, maybe. But now you're going back to these receivers who have spent all night not getting open. So I don't know how you adjust other than Mahomes just keeps the ball more often, which I'm cool with. You run the ball a little more often. I'm cool with that if you can get any sort of push in the trenches. But the fourth down things, and I opened the show with a lot of this too, so we'll podcast it all. If you really want to hear what the wounds sounded like as we began the show, the moment that the final whistle blew, I'll podcast it up on the additional programming page, the old Almost Entirely Sports feed, and all those spots. But Bill Barnwell of ESPN summed it up really well on Twitter, I thought. The Chiefs passed up a pair of 4th and 2s in the second half to kick field goals and ended up needing to try and convert a 4th and 25. So you get to pick. You can be a little more aggressive earlier on, or you can wait until the last possible minute, and then you realize, oh, bleep, we have to panic here and figure out how to get 25 yards in a nightmare situation. The way that I said it earlier tonight, beginning of the show, is that on 3 occasions, Andy Reid had the option to put the ball in the hands of Patrick Mahomes. And instead, he put it to the foot of Harrison Butker twice and to the hands of Blake Bell to Rashee Rice after that. I think he's one of the greatest football coaches who's ever lived, who makes some of the most frustrating, similar mistakes in situations like that when you get back into a corner on 4th and 25. It's really frustrating. And I think they win this division by like 2 games. We'll take a break here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB postgame show. We're going to feel our feelings, and we're going to hear from Andy Reid. I'm sure he was asked plenty about some of those decisions and how the team got where they did. We'll hear from Andy Reid next.
You're listening to live postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Warm weather is just around the corner, which means insects and other pests are soon to follow. Plan now to keep bugs out of your home or business with Augustine Exterminators. Now's the time to establish and or maintain a barrier from pests. Augustine also provides carpet, rug, tile, and air duct cleaning. Enjoy your backyard this summer by keeping mosquitoes away. For an average size home, Augustine Mosquitoes Control Service is only $85 a month. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online to AugustineExterminators.com.
Kansas City, you don't need a reason to order Hickory Smoked Barbecue from Jack Stack. You can order it anytime you want. Just order a carryout online at jackstackbbq.com/810. That's jackstackbbq.com/810.
Hey, you know what I don't get? Why is that company always telling you to just do what? What is it? To just look like everybody else? Or maybe just pay way too much for your shoes? Well, Skechers, we know what we want you to do. Just slip in. That's right, just slip in to new hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Why? Because slip-ins are the easiest, most comfortable shoes ever. You don't have to bend down to put them on. You don't even have to touch them. Find slip-ins for the whole family at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
Hey, but what about your fence? Slagle Fence has you covered. Slagle Fence has the expertise and outstanding service to make sure your fence decision is an easy one. Schlegel Fence is your own defense against a handyman that promises the world. The best part of Schlegel Fence is they offer competitive prices that won't break the bank. Call Schlegel Fence for your free estimate today. Now that's some defense. 816-863-6159 or schlegelfence.com.
Join us on Saturday, October 7th for the second annual Carrie's Denim Dash 5K and Fun Run in honor of Carrie Berger. Carrie's Denim Dash is dedicated to helping local teens and young adults receive drug and alcohol treatment who would not be able to afford it otherwise. Last year, the event raised over $50,000, which helped 50 local teens get the proper care they needed. The event will continue after the race with a live raffle, booths from sponsors, and more. Don't forget to wear your denim. To learn more and register to run, visit our website at carriesdenimdash.org.
September is here, and so are some of the biggest high school matchups of the year. Don't miss a clash of two of the top teams in the 810 Varsity Top 25. Number 2 Liberty North at number 4 Rockhurst. It's the Eagles and Hawklets Friday night at 7 o'clock on ESPN Kansas City 94.5 FM. And don't forget to go to 810varsity.com to get all the scores, rankings, and much more. It's all from Kansas City's home for high school sports. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Start your college football Saturday with Danny and Stan on College Game Day at 9 a.m. They'll get you ready for a full slate of games, including Deion Sanders and his Colorado Buffaloes against the Nebraska Cornhuskers in an old Big 8 battle, or switch over to ESPN Kansas City to hear Notre Dame face NC State. Then at 2:30, it's Iowa and Iowa State. They'll meet for the Cy-Hawk Trophy on WHB. At 6 on ESPN Kansas City, we'll have Oregon and Texas Tech. It's all on your home for college football. Sports Radio 810 WHB and ESPN Kansas City.
Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Pour me in, Coach. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at titosvodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly. J. Wolf Acura offers customer experience and expert advice that is second to none. Not to mention their deals on new and used Acura cars and SUVs. J. Wolf Acura with 2 locations, 103rd and State Line in KCMO or 7727 Frontage Road in Overland Park.
Greenlight Dispensary is proud to offer convenient online ordering for those on the go. Anyone 21 and older with any valid state ID can place an order for pickup through greenlightdispensary.com and pick it up at your favorite location's drive-thru or grab-and-go window. Greenlight is known for our knowledgeable budtenders who cater to users of all experience levels, with a large variety of flour, concentrates, edibles, drinks, accessories, and more. Loyalty rewards accumulate with every purchase and can be used for any product in store. So stop by Greenlight Dispensary or go to greenlightdispensary.com today.
Hey, Kansas City corporate partners, are you looking for a great local company to provide your apparel? Look no further, it's Jocksnitch. Let Jocksnitch build your company brand. We can design your logo. We can provide polos, quarter zips, backpacks, hats, custom designed t-shirts, and more. Plan ahead for the holidays. We have those unique items that are perfect gifts for your staff, partners in business, and friends. Shop local, buy local at Jocksnitch in Lenexa at the northeast corner of College and Flum, or online at jocksnitch.com.
Hey, 810 listeners. My name is Tony Maselli with We Sell Restaurants of Kansas City. Are you a restaurant owner and want to start thinking about retirement so you can enjoy your life without the hustle and grind of the restaurant industry? I've spent 40 years in the restaurant industry, and now I'm helping people in Kansas City buy and sell restaurants. I've worked with all kinds of restaurants, ranging from small coffee shops to major Kansas City staples. If you're looking to sell your restaurant or want more information on buying a restaurant, give me a call today at 816-810-1400 or go to WeSellRestaurants.com. That's 816-810-1400.
Picture yourself lounging on a luxurious patio set, sipping your favorite drink, soaking up the sun. At Amini's, they believe outdoor living should be stylish and comfortable, and they're having their huge outdoor savings event now. Outdoor sofas and sectionals, dining sets, fire pits, pool tables and shuffleboard, pinball machines, theater seating, area rugs, and so much more. Trade in your old outdoor furniture and get 60 months no-interest financing. Amini's, 105th Metcalf, or online at aminis.com.
When summer temperatures get extreme, your house needs a Champion premium system that keeps your family comfortable and cool. Go to championhomecomfort.com and don't forget to ask about their free 10-year parts and labor warranty. Always leading, never compromising, championhomecomfort.com.
Comes the snap. Here comes the rush. Quick throw. Laterally at the 20. Caught belt high. Ball not free with the hit. Rolls to the 10. Rolls to the far sideline. I think the Chiefs have gotten it. They have. Brian Cook has jumped on the loose ball for the Chiefs on a Detroit fumble after a catch. It's a turnover. The Chiefs will stop the Lions and take it over. The ball will be at the Chiefs 7.
It was a huge defensive play for the Kansas City Chiefs, recovered by Brian Cook, forced by Trent McDuffie. That is our defensive play of the game, brought to you by Slagle Fence. Slagle Fence, as Kansas City's preferred fence company, has been serving the KC metro areas for over a decade, offering security and style. Call 816-863-6159 or go to slaglefence.com for your free estimate. The defense stood tall, stood strong, like a Slagle fence for the Chiefs today. Really, this loss does not fall on the defense at all. The offense certainly struggled without Travis Kelce. But let's hear from one of the captains on the defensive side as Todd Lebo and Stephen St. John caught up with Justin Reid in the locker room after the loss.
One of the moments seemed like that was going to be a turning point. Did it feel like that in the moment?
Yeah, anytime we can give the ball to our offense, as explosive as they are, we always have a good feeling about it. So.
And you guys would have known you'd give up just 14 points on defense. I think you take that night. And did you feel good about how the defense played overall?
We lost.
Yeah.
You're never going to feel good. There's no participation awards. It's like, do you win or do you lose? We left some plays on the field on all three phases of the ball: offense, defense, special teams. We all left some plays on the field, and we just got to take this as a reality check and know that we're going to have a target on our back, and we just got to play better.
You guys seem to make a point of staying in instead of being out there for the hoopla. I mean, was that a concerted thing in the locker room? Like, we're not paying attention to last season, we're staying inside. And
that's the focus. That's the message Coach Reid is preaching. That's the message that the locker room leaders are preaching. Is last year is over with. You know what I mean? And this should just highlight that more than anything. Whatever we did last year won't help us win a game this year. So we just got to play better. When you have opportunities to make plays, you got to make plays.
Did it feel a little surreal? You guys have probably seen the offense come out late in games and win it for you. You've seen that a lot, right? And then it just, some uncharacteristic things tonight.
It's football, and they have a talented team too. So I don't want to take anything away from them. They came out here and played good football. They took chances and they hit on them, with like the fake punting thing. So don't want to take anything away from the type of football that they played. And Mahomes is one of the most exciting, fantastic players you ever watch. And not everything's going to always be a magical fairy tale ending. We just got to play a better game throughout the course of the game so that we don't have to try and hope and pray for one of those moments again. We could just seal it in the beginning.
What did Andy try to get across after the game with you guys in here?
Before the game?
After. What did he try to get across afterwards?
We got to fix it. There's too many mistakes. You got to fix it. It's as simple as that.
Do you have any feelings about Chris Jones, not being in camp, not being here, but yet being in the game, being up in the stands, watching the game?
Nah, no feelings. That wasn't even in my mind. I don't think that was in anyone's mind in the locker room. We're here to play a football game, and we didn't play good enough today, and we're going to have to watch the tape and get better and fix it.
You got a few extra days to get ready for Jacksonville, head out on the road. Do you like having that extra time, or would you rather get to another game so you don't have to stew over this one?
I'd rather get to a game quicker. I'd like to play a game tomorrow, so just get the feeling out of our mouth. But we're going to take advantage. I think it's going to help out with Trav to have the extra day off too, for from some of the guys that have injuries to come back and heal up. So we're just going to take it on the chin, not make any excuses about it, come back and play better.
You said that term before, Justin, about reality check. I mean, is that your biggest takeaway from tonight?
Yeah, nobody's going to go up and roll over for us. We know teams are going to go for it on fourth. They're going to take chances, so we got to overcome that. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
If you're watching on the video feed, you may have seen me throw a hand to the sky when he said, we know teams are going to be aggressive. They're going to go for it on fourth down. Chiefs defense did not get punked by the Lions today. They did not get caught off guard. They did not get embarrassed by some aggressiveness or any of that. Also, it was a rough start for Justin Reid tonight. He had a couple of rough plays in the first, I think both in the first quarter. Had some better plays later on. Nick Bolton said, let's see what I wrote down my little quote here. Situational football and discipline from Andy Reid was a big part of it. I have some feelings about that. We'll talk more about it on the other side. We will hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes next on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show.
You're listening to live postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Are you looking for a career change? Let Sports Radio 810 help you with your search. Many local companies are hiring right now. Go to 810WHB.com, click on the Community tab, and search Job Connections. Great companies in Kansas City need you right now, and the compensation and benefits packages are excellent. Great companies like TVH, Twin Peaks, and Shamrock Roofing and Construction. Check it out by logging on to 810WHB.com, clicking the Community tab, and searching Job Connections. 810 Job Connections, connecting you with your next career.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through September 21st, new customers can get 1.2 gig internet plus unlimited data for just $25 a month for 2 years with no annual contract. When you add Xfinity Mobile, go online, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires PayPal bill and an auto-pay stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. After promo, regular supply to internet service and Wi-Fi equipment. Actual speeds vary.
Need to restock after Labor Day? From the Earth has got you covered. Buy any two of Illicit's premium cannabis cartridges and get the third for free. This offer is valid from today until Thursday, so don't miss out. Choose from Illicit's live resin carts, their unique classy carts, or their live rosin options. All Illicit cartridges are made from dental-grade ceramics and real glass with 100% organic Japanese cotton absorption cores. When you want quality, choose Illicit.
Premier Volvo Cars of Overland Park has the largest inventory of new 2023 Volvos in the Midwest. Rates as low as 4.99% for up to 72 months. Don't wait, the deals are unbeatable, and now is the time to buy a new vehicle. Additional savings for Costco members on all certified pre-owned Volvos. Just ask for Sean Weiss or Jimmy Loveland. Where luxury and safety meet, Premier Volvo Cars of Overland Park at 78th and Metcalf, or at PremierVolvoCarsOverlandPark.com. See dealer for details.
Hey Kansas City, Stephen St. John here. Are you ready to transform your existing concrete floor with new custom floor coatings? The crew at Polymagic finished my garage, and it looks like an entirely new garage. With over 100 color combinations available, the crew can apply to your garage, pool areas, patios, and porches, allowing for a multi-purpose space. Their process is 10 times more durable than epoxy and is the same material used in truck bed liners. If you've considered garage floor coatings, give Polymagic a call for a free estimate, 816-765-4800, or visit polymagic.net.
The best Thursday of the year is coming up, and it's all about NFL opening night. Football is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is hooking new customers up with a can't-miss offer to celebrate. Place your first $5 NFL bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Check the app to see what you got. Don't wait till kickoff to get in on the hype. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 810WHB. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. That's code 810WHB, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Kansas. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort.
WHB Kansas City. Listen up, sporting fans. Central Bank of the Midwest invites you to score a better banking experience with our new sporting checking account. Now you can show off your team spirit at the match or on the go with the official sporting debit card. Plus, you'll gain access to Central Bank's award-winning mobile app with more than 30,000 reviews and a 4.9-star rating. So, score big today by opening your sporting checking account at any of our convenient Central Bank locations or by visiting sportingchecking.com. Member FDIC.
Saturday, ESPN Kansas City is bringing you special live coverage from Kansas Speedway of the Hollywood Casino 400. Get ready for NASCAR at Kansas Speedway with the Racing Boys Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott previewing all the action beginning at noon. Then at 2 o'clock, the green flag will fly, and we'll bring you all the action with live turn-by-turn coverage from MRN Radio. Your home for live race coverage of the Hollywood Casino 400 from Kansas Speedway. ESPN Kansas City, 1510 AM and 94.5 FM.
I'm Dr. Andrew Palmisano, a fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeon with Ascentus Healthcare. Ascentus now has orthopedic surgery and sports medicine. Myself and Drs. E.J. Wilkinson and Nick Aberly are available for all of your orthopedic needs. Come see our state-of-the-art clinics during our walk-in hours featuring same-day and next-day appointments, Monday through Friday in Leawood and on Parallel Parkway in Kansas City. Call 913-395-0294. 913-395-0294 to book your appointment at Ascentus Healthcare today.
1st and goal at the 4. Back to pass Mahomes, sidearm throw, caught, goal line touchdown. Wide open on an E was Bell. The short touchdown pass, Mahomes has thrown 2 tonight, that of 4 yards, the first one of a yard, and the Chiefs have gone up 13-7 on an 82-yard drive.
The good times were not as frequent as would have been nice to see for the Kansas City Chiefs, but that one was nice. In fact, it's our play of the game, brought to you by Central Bank of the Midwest. At Central Bank of the Midwest, every customer is a first-round draft pick. Central Bank of the Midwest, strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC. We'll go to the head coach here, because I've said this plenty. I feel like I can maybe stop giving the opener here of, I think this is one of the greatest coaches in the history of American sports, which is why it's so frustrating that I don't understand what his strategy is in some short yardage, high leverage situations in terms of taking the ball away from Patrick Mahomes in order to let Harrison Butker kick it, or to let Blake Bell take the snap just so he can hand it to Rashee Rice. Creativity and getting cute and gadget plays and all of that. We love them when they work. I love them most of the time, including most of the time they don't work. 1st or 2nd down in the red zone, yeah, get weird with it. 4th down to trot out Harrison Butker to stretch a 1-possession lead into a 1-possession lead, not so much. Bout had it with the Belldozer spinoffs, I think, but, I'm sure there are 3 or 4 more ways for that to not work. Anyway, Andy Reid's a tremendous head coach. It was not a tremendous night for him, in my estimation, but we will hear from the head coach here. His press conference brought to you by Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC and Olathe Kia. Get a worry-free money-back guarantee on new vehicles when you buy from Brogdon. Visit BrogdonAutomotive.com. We'll start here where Andy Reid always starts, with the opening statements, some opening thoughts as the Chiefs drop the first game of the 2023 NFL season.
All right, there are no injuries to mention. Listen, the Lions did a heck of a job. Capitalize on a couple things, and we got to fix those. So I like some of the efforts, though. I liked what I saw on the defensive side for the most part, and there were some good things on offense. We just got to be more consistent. I'll take that. I'll take this the offensive part of that. But we did have some good plays in there, but disappointing loss. Good football team that we lost to, but we've got to play better and we've got to coach better, and so that's what we'll do. That time's yours. How do you explain all the drop passes tonight? Yeah, it's unusual for us to drop that many passes anywhere, anytime. So we'll go back and work on that. But you got to take care of business, and these guys know that, and so we've got to fix that.
Andy, that sequence before the 2-minute warning, you go for it on 4th and 20, and then you go for it again after the penalty. Can you explain that with 3 timeouts?
Yeah, I thought that we needed to do that. So at that particular time, they'd driven the ball on us, and so I thought it was important that we gave that a shot. So we still had some time on the clock. We lost ground on both those, and so we got to do a better job there. So I've got to take care of that. I mean, we worked like crazy on our short yardage, and for it to happen like that is not good. No, we went backwards there, so I thought we were okay.
Huh. I appreciate McDowell trying twice, but because they were moving backward, they didn't think that. I'll do some deep breathing while we hear the next clip and try to make some sense of that one. Andy Reid had no interest in talking about the 4th down field goal decisions. They punted from 4th and 4 from the 41 earlier in the game. That one I made note of, just kind of to note. 4th and 4 after they lost 3 yards on the Blake Bell, Rashee Rice end around thing. Here's the thing. If a negative play is going to force you to pass on an opportunity to go for it on 4th and short. So that's the logic that's laid out there, right? I'm really trying to be fair. Reid says, no, we were losing yards. Why would we run another play? We're moving backwards. Then on 3rd and 1, just let Blake Bell sneak it. I don't think it would have worked. But you know what it would have done? Throw some weird bleep at him. And then at least it won't lose you yards, and you can go for it on 4th and 1 if you want, if it doesn't work. Why would you run plays that are that high risk, high reward in that situation if the failed version of that play would just take 4th down off the table for you? I just don't really understand. I personally don't actually have much issue with them going for it on 4th and 20 and 4th and 25 because at that point, you have to get a stop regardless. Who cares if you do it at deep in Chiefs territory or deep in Lions territory? Who cares? You got to get a stop. And the only difference would be you could get a stop and then a field goal could win it for you if you punt and stop them. And if you stop them after the turnover on downs and they kick a field goal, you still got to go get a touchdown. But I think that I'd rather have the shot on 4th and 25 because you at least know the ball's in your hands at that point. They never touched it again after 4th and 25. So I actually think that decision is pretty vindicated. The stuff about 4th and short earlier on, man, it just makes me sick. Next thing for Andy Reid here. He was asked how he'd evaluate the offensive line, which I thought had a tremendous day in pass pro.
Yeah, listen, there were some good things. I thought we did some, we protected pretty well throughout the day.
Coach,
but we can always do better there, though.
Sorry, Coach. How close did it come for Travis to play, and how did that decision kind of play out for you?
It just wasn't feeling right, so I wasn't going to put him out there with that. And he was honest with me, and we talked, and so just not enough time there.
How big a factor do you think that was?
Yeah, and I wouldn't. No excuses at all. I mean, we've got guys that can play. We're right there to take care of business, and they got us on special teams and continue the drive. They got us on the tip ball. So I mean, listen, it's unusual for the guys that drop the ball to drop the ball. I mean, that's not what I've seen from them, and I wouldn't expect them to do that. So you do that, you take care of business there, and you'll be all right.
How much did you change the
No, I didn't. We really didn't have to. I mean, we kept the game plan basically the same. They did a nice job of mixing their coverages and that, but I thought our guys handled it.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm just let you keep hearing from Andy Reid. I want to talk to Matt Derrick in a little bit more. Then I want to talk about how frustrated I am with some of the things Andy Reid's done here. Next, again, asked about the 4th and 25 logic and what followed there.
Hey, man, just get back on that 4th and 25. What was the thinking of that play? What was the design? What were you hoping to happen?
It was designed to complete the son of a gun. It didn't work that way, but I mean, we were trying to, the best we could to get a completion, keep things going. So.
And it seems as though the offense is always so good, historically speaking, on 3rd and long. 3rd and shorts have been an issue. Obviously, you're not a fan of sneaking the ball after Mahomes 3 years ago. Why do you consider ever sneaking the ball and going back? And then secondly, why do you think it's been such a struggle at times?
Yeah. Well, we worked hard on that. So we've got to get better. We weren't very good last year at it, and we spent a lot of time working on that. So we've got to keep going here and make sure we take care of it. But I'll take that. That's my responsibility to get that taken care of.
Andy, on those, you haven't gone back and looked at everything yet, but is that a lot of credit to
them for being ready for some of the things that you were throwing at them on those short yardage plays, or did you maybe not execute the way you wanted to?
Yeah, listen, I don't want to take anything away from them. We didn't handle it the right way, and I've got to make sure that I give them the right calls to handle it, and we've got to make sure we do it.
We worked on short yardage a lot, so it should be better by now. Is not quite as soothing as I would like for it to be. I do think that, I think this might have been the clip before, just sort of circling back around. I do think it's reasonable to say, hey, the receivers who dropped everything tonight aren't perpetual droppers. That's not the reputation of Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, but it doesn't make them any more productive in how things went today. One more here from Andy Reid, opening up first with a question about the fake punt, and if that caught them by surprise, and then a question about Chris Jones.
We mentioned it to the guys. We were ready for everything, special teams. I mean, I mentioned it to the guys. They were double the amount of fakes than anybody else in the league last year. So they got us on it.
Hey Andy, Chris Jones with the holdout situation. Are you any more optimistic? I know this is right after a game, but not having him tonight, the impact on the game.
Yeah, listen, no excuse. I thought the defense did some good things. That's a whole separate deal, and then I'll work itself out whatever direction it goes. But I thought our guys, I don't want to take anything away from the guys up front there. They busted their tail tonight. Didn't come up the way we wanted it, but I thought they did some good things there.
They did. The Chiefs' defensive line, they weren't hassling Jared Goff, but ultimately the defense made enough plays, certainly made enough plays to win, really made enough plays to very rarely ever actually get punished for the things the Lions were able to do against them. It wasn't just Amon-Ra St. Brown feasting out of the slot for 3 hours. I mean, the defense did what they were supposed to do on every drive but one, essentially, and then special teams flubbed up one of them, and pick six scores you the next, and now a 21-point loss. I mean, the Chiefs' offense scored 20 points. 20 points in a season opening game. It's gross. Don't enjoy that. Do enjoy Patrick Mahomes. Very much interested to hear what he had to say about how everything went tonight. The quarterback's press conference is brought to you by Kansas City Acura Dealers. As the Chiefs march toward another epic year, visit your Kansas City area Acura dealers to score jaw-dropping deals on new and pre-owned Acura models. Plus, get overpaid for your trade. Shop your Kansas City area Acura dealer and go Chiefs. That's from the Kansas City Acura Dealers. For this, the Patrick Mahomes press conference, opening up here with Mahomes being asked about the wide receiver drops, going for it on fourth, and some of those conversions.
Hold on to balls and drops. How do you try to keep them encouraged? I think they know that I'm gonna keep firing it, and so we'll try to get it fixed this next week and correct it going into the next game. Yeah, I mean, I'm always hoping to go for it, but the defense was playing good, and we kicked the field goals, and I mean, it set us up to have a situation where we just needed a field goal at the end of the game. We just didn't convert on it. Yeah, I mean, we work on it. Every year. We've obviously emphasized it this last year after last year not converting at the rate that we wanted to. But obviously, we got to keep working on it because we didn't convert in those situations today.
So you have it kind of consolidated as the questions have been, can be quiet out there at the presser. So again, receiver drops, going for it on fourth, and the attempts of actually trying to convert there. Mahomes wanting to go for it more often is not a surprise. He's always standing over there, waving his hand toward Andy Reid or trying to huddle or speed things up or whatever. And that's been the issue with, been one of the issues with or at least one of the differences between him and Andy Reid. Mahomes has made Reid a more aggressive coach. It used to be worse than this, but still a spot where the two of them have some different tolerances in terms of risk. Here, Mahomes talks about the lack of Travis Kelce today being not quite connected with Sky Moore and where that leaves the rest of the receiving core.
Travis Kelce, what kind of impact did that have on you?
Yeah, I mean, you're losing one of the best, I think the best tight end of all time. But other guys got to step up. I mean, it's going to have an impact on the game, but other guys got to step up, and they're going to have to step up in moments because I'm sure there'll be times he gets doubled. And so just going to have to rely on these other guys that are young and talented to step up and make plays, and I believe that they will.
Patrick, what was the disconnect you think with Sky? You targeted him a couple times, just couldn't get anything going.
Yeah, and just we didn't have that connection, misconnections here and there. But something you have to continue to work on. Like I said, he's one of those guys that has a ton of talent that can make a lot of big plays happen. So we'll learn from it and try to be better next time.
He sounds so sad, and he looks so frustrated during the game. I mean, this. It's not as bad for a number of reasons, but this had Chiefs-Bucks Super Bowl vibes, right? That's what it was making me feel in the fourth quarter, just as he was putting footballs in impossible places, and they were falling through the hands of his wide receivers. I got flashbacks. Here, Mahomes talks about it being a reality check tonight and what that meant for the Chiefs on banner night, which the team wasn't even there to watch anyway.
After Justin Reid used the term in the locker room, reality check, did you have some sense of that from this game, or what's your biggest takeaway?
I mean, it'll be good for the young guys to know that we're not going to just kind of walk in and win the game. You're going to have to play good football. We're going to play every team's best shot. I've preached it to them all preseason, but they know now. And we're going to go to Jacksonville next week, and that's going to be a good football team. So hopefully guys learn from it, get better, and this one loss doesn't turn into two.
Hey, Patrick, I know it's just one game, but how embarrassing is this given the fact that you guys unfurled the Super Bowl banner, national TV, starting a new season, and for it to end up like this?
It's embarrassing for me to lose any time. Like I had said after the ring ceremony, I'd moved on to the next season. Obviously, it's cool for the fans to be able to see the banner and drop it at Arrowhead Stadium. But this is a whole new year, and I think I know that. And we're trying to win another Super Bowl, and this is obviously not the way we wanted to start. And so anytime I lose, I'm embarrassed. And so I'm gonna try to get better so I don't lose more as the season goes on. I didn't watch it. I think I was in the locker room, so it wasn't. I don't even know if I looked at the banner. So, like I said, I've moved on. It's a new season. My goal wasn't to just win the Super Bowl and be done. Like, I'm trying to continue to do it every single year, and I think we got the team, but obviously we have a lot of places to get better.
It's a really interesting dynamic to go out there on banner night and to by and large lay an egg. Again, it's the pass catchers and some coaching decisions, I think. I think it ultimately ends up being about that simple, which is really frustrating because you're used to having one of the best pass catchers of all time, not just tight ends. One of the best pass catchers of all time is usually out there. He wasn't today. And nobody else stepped up. In fact, several guys stepped down. It's frustrating. And it leads you to situations like going for it on 4th and 20. Here's what Mahomes had to say about the attempts there.
Hey, Patrick, how surprised were you to get the call that you guys were going to go for it on 4th and 20?
I mean, it's a situation where you're going to have to get a stop regardless of 3 and out. Coach Reid decided to put the ball in my hands, and we were close to getting it. Obviously, it didn't work out, but you're going to get the 3 and out regardless either way, and it just didn't happen for us there.
Yeah, and again, just to kind of where I'm coming from here, and I was saying this in real time too, punting there probably wouldn't have frustrated any more than the other 4th down, the field goals they kicked and the Blake Bell 3rd down attempt. Those are still more frustrating and more impactful anyway because the game was still a very long shot and 4th and 25 also. But the reason you go for it there is because you give Patrick Mahomes one chance to pick up 25 yards, thing he's historically great at. You give Patrick Mahomes one chance to pick up 25 yards, and then you do that a couple more times, you kick a field goal, you win the game, you move on. If you punt from there, and then again, if you don't convert, you still have a chance to burn the rest of your timeouts, get that 3 and out. They kick a field goal, you get the ball back, down 4 with a little bit of time left. That's usable. That's fine if you get the stop. They didn't. And if you punt, you've said, hey, I think we're going to go ahead and say there's a real chance the last Chiefs player to touch the football in this game is Tommy Townsend. And so instead, you let Mahomes have one more chance to be Mahomes, one more chance to get let down by his teammates. They follow suit, and you give your defense a chance too. It bothers me not at all that they went for it on 4th and a billion there, because I got to watch one more snap of Patrick Mahomes trying to put this game on his back. They shouldn't have been in that situation. They should have been more aggressive on 4th and short, but by the time you get there to 4th and 25, you are near bleep it territory in terms of you still have to score. You're down a point. We could have a much more interesting conversation about like 4th and short up by 2 or something like that, playing all of that math. But in this case, I think the difference between punting and going for it there are pretty minimal. I'd like to see Patrick Mahomes have a chance. And if Sky Moore makes a catch, we're talking about, wow, what a play on 4th and 25. Another Patrick Mahomes legacy kind of play. Here, Mahomes was asked about Travis Kelce, said he wanted to go, and was asked if he thinks he'll be ready 10 days from now against the Jags.
How much did it bother Trav that he just couldn't play?
I mean, y'all know Trav. He's kind of like, he's exactly like me. Like, I want to play. I want to be out there with the guys. He works extremely hard to be out there, and kind of a freak deal that he wasn't able to make it. So hopefully we'll try to rehab him with these extra days and get him going hopefully for next week.
A couple more guys.
I mean, I'm not going to put anything past Trav. I mean, he was trying to play today. It just literally couldn't. I don't know if it was his decision. It was kind of the guys above knowing it's going to be a long season. Yeah, I mean, he's going to try. He'll do whatever he can to be out there, and hopefully he can clear all those doctors' tests and get out there on the football field.
One more thing here, Dylan. I'm going to call an audible ourselves. That's Patrick Mahomes. You've heard from him now, and we got to hear from the offense. But I wouldn't mind hearing from Mike Dana before we take our break. And we have that? Oh, I'm sorry. Dylan caught me again. This is my second mistake. I've dropped the ball twice, which would still only make me the third most dropping pass catcher today. One more from Patrick Mahomes before we hear from Mike Dana. Mahomes asked about Kadarius Toney and his message to the locker room.
Hey, Patrick, what do you say to Kadarius Toney after the game where it could have swung a different way if he was involved in something?
Yeah, I mean, I have trust in KT. He missed a lot of training camp. Obviously, he wanted to play and fought rehab hard so he could play. And stuff's not always going to go your way. Obviously, he would have wanted to catch a few of those in the game, but I have trust that he's going to be that guy that I go to in those crucial moments, and he's going to make the catch and win us some seasons like he did last year. So we're going to continue to work him in, get him more and more reps, and I'm sure that those drops will kind of disappear.
Last one. What's the message that needs to come out of that locker room?
Got to be better.
All right, thank you.
It's not a bad message, but it's something that occasionally it sounds a little Andy Reid-y. And it's occasionally, kind of annoying, but probably the right thing to say at a podium that's, being carried around the world. But gotta be better. How is it going to get better? How are you going to be better? When Andy Reid says this is on me, what part of it? Because you say, hey, this is on me, I'll take responsibility for that. Hey, coach, what about going for it when you should be going for it more aggressively because you have the greatest quarterback to ever live playing for you? Yeah, we were moving backwards. Whoa, hold on. So do we care about getting better or not? Mahomes isn't. It's not a cop-out. It's him being really frustrated at a podium saying, I don't know what the message, we got to be better. We'll figure out how to get better. I think the trust in Toney, and again, he and Sky Moore aren't these guys who have had lifelong problems with drops. But man, it's frustrating, and you can hear it from him as well. The reason I mentioned Mike Dana, so we'll hear from him out of the locker room here in just a second. But he, inside, outside, rushing from the interior as one of the lighter defensive tackles who was getting some work. I mean, he was going to rush from the interior regardless, but especially with no Charles Omenihu and certainly with no Chris Jones, the Chiefs really needed that from him, and he was able to be there on the edge quite a bit as well. I'll be interested to see what the snap count ends up being. But Mike Dana is the guy that I wanted to highlight, and so we'll give him the green light. Brought to you by Green Light Dispensary. Outstanding customer service, superior product, and continuously voted Missouri's best. Open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week. You can find a location near you today at greenlightdispensary.com. Let's hear from the Green Light receiver today. Let's hear from Mike Dana as he talked a little bit in the locker room after the loss.
A lot of guys stepped up. He's handling his business. But when guys' numbers was called, they stepped up. They played their tails off, and I'm proud of the guys that stepped up, man. That's a big, significant role and it's really challenging to do that. And to be able to do that in this league and being ready when your number's called is really huge.
When you guys got that stop on 4th and 2, did you feel like it was a familiar scenario to you? Like, okay.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. You know, we got to stop, and you know, it gave us some hope, but we didn't finish. And you know, we just got to finish next week. We got to figure out on film where we went wrong, and you know, get it back together, get it back, you know, get it back right.
What do you think Andy tried to get across to you guys after the game?
In here, from start to finish, we got to be disciplined, man. You know, we can't take our foot off the gas pedal at any point. You know, we got to hold ourselves accountable. Offense, defense, special teams, everyone. You know, so like I said, we just got to watch the film, watch the tape, be critical of ourselves, and you know, back to work.
Justin used the term that, in a sense, this game's a reality check. I mean, does it have
Absolutely.
that feel to it?
You know, it's that really reality check, and you know, this one stings, and like I said, we're going to be okay. We just got to dial up the film and, you know, be collective as a unit, and we'll be fine.
I feel like there's a different mentality as defending champs that, you know, target's always on your back, but maybe there's something different to try to repeat, and this is everybody's Super Bowl.
I mean, yeah, it's a target on our back, but that's no excuse to go out there and not perform to the best of your abilities. You know, we still need to come out and give these guys the run and, you know, be able to find out how to come out with a W, regardless if it's somebody's Super Bowl or not. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go. That's Mike Dana, and we'll get to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest momentarily. But with that audio there from Mike Dana, heard a lot of Vahe Gregorian of the Kansas City Star, and of course our own Stephen St. John. That wraps up our locker room report, brought to you by Twin Peaks.
The Chiefs Locker Room Report is brought to you by Twin Peaks. No one does football like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. And don't forget about their 29-degree man-sized drafts at Twin Peaks.
We'll crack open a couple of cold ones, perhaps. Man-sized draft with Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. I think he's still at Arrowhead. And I'm still here, so no extensive bourbon category for us right now. Well, it sounds pretty nice. And it'll still be nice to talk to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. We'll do that next in the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show.
You're listening to live postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Catch the pick segment with Fat Jack weekly during the program with Soren Petro Thursdays at 3 all football season long. The guys in Jack will pick 5 games against the spread and give their opinions on how the games are going to play out. There's going to be plenty of bragging and trash talking, to be sure. Fat Jack has been a leading sports analyst for 28 years. His records are documented and recorded at FatJackSports.com. Listen every Thursday at 3 and get ready for the football weekend.
Trying to unwind for the summer? Look no further than From the Earth Dispensaries. With 5 locations in Kansas City, Independence, and Raytown, they've got all the cannabis you dream of. Visit their website at ftemo.com to place a pickup order. Sign up for the rewards program to earn points on every purchase. And don't forget to try Professor Puff, their AI bud tender designed to match you with the perfect products for your preferences. Visit ftemo.com to get started.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey. And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reid Chevrolet, St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reid Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
How would you like to be saving up to 70% on your utility bills this month? Hi, this is Geo Julie with ECS Geothermal. Our water furnace geothermal systems will do just that, save you money, and you'll help protect our planet because one geothermal system saves as much energy as planting 750 trees in a single year. We've been installing water furnace geothermal systems locally for 30 years. Get a free estimate today at ecsgeothermal.com.
Are you looking for a career change? Let Sports Radio 810 help you with your search. Many local companies are hiring right now. Go to 810WHB.com, click on the Community tab, and search Job Connections. Great companies in Kansas City need you right now, and the compensation and benefits packages are excellent. Great companies like Hy-Vee, TVH, Red Door Grill, and Amini. Check it out by logging on to 810WHB.com, clicking the Community tab, and searching Job Connections. 810 Job Connections, connecting you with your next career.
With water quality making the news more than ever, now is the perfect time to take your water into your own hands. Culligan takes your water through a multi-step process that makes water soft, healthy, and delicious, with several options to suit your home or business. We've put together special pricing for 810 listeners. To claim your offer and learn more, visit CulliganKansasCity.com/810. Culligan Water. Better water, pure and simple.
Your Kansas City Symphony presents Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Harry's last year at Hogwarts is here, part of the epic finale and concert. Experience the loss and love of the series finish all over again as Harry and his friends rush to face the Dark Lord Voldemort for the last time. With a full film set to your Kansas City Symphony performing live, the final battle for Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry has never been so emotional. September 6th through the 10th, get tickets for Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows in concert at kcsymphony.org. That's kcsymphony.org.
Tito's handmade vodka on game day? Pour me in, coach. From a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch. Root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. No matter who's on your roster, lineup, or lucky jersey, make Tito's your first round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at titosvodka.com. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Race in for NASCAR excitement September 8th through 10th at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. Bring us your NASCAR ticket and get $10 Penn Cash plus $50 Penn Cash for becoming a Penn Play member. We're giving away $60,000 in prizes all weekend. Plus, place your NASCAR bets at the only sports book in the KC metro area. Get in on all the racing action September 8th through 10th at Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
He's flushed from the pocket. He's on the numbers. Running to the far side, holding the ball with one hand by midfield. Breaks a tackle, far sideline, angling out of bounds. He's close to a first down, running into the Lion bench on the far sideline, but looks maybe to be short. Let's see. There are three officials over there. Let's see where they put the ball. And they're going to give him the first down. A run of 6 yards by Patrick Mahomes for the first down.
There you hear in action the Kansas City Chiefs' leading rusher by a lot. Almost doubling the output of Isaiah Pacheco and fully doubling the output of Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Pacheco and Edwards-Helaire each went... Actually, holy bleep, it's perfect. This lines up perfectly, everybody. 6 carries for 45 yards for Patrick Mahomes today. 14 carries for 45 yards for Isaiah Pacheco and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Jerick McKinnon did not get a carry, just for those of you who may be curious. Rashee Rice got one, went back a few yards, and then some. So it is a frustrating game for all the reasons we've discussed over the last couple of hours, and we'll do it now with Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. Again, read his work at ChiefsDigest.com. Plus, you can hear him at 11 o'clock in the Zone on Friday mornings, and here on technically Friday morning, Matt, do you just want to drive straight to the studio? We'll have a little slumber party, and I'm already slurring my words, so you know I've been having a good time.
I should have done that. I should have just headed right on over there, and we could have a little conversation and then sleep under the desk. And, I mean, I guess the Border Patrol is going to come in and wake us up, but...
I literally did that after the Super Bowl last year. I got like an hour and a half or so of sleep just under the table in my little... office. I think Pamela's called it my treehouse before, and I kind of like that. But yeah, I've slept here before from that bridge to overnight into the Zone. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not sure it'd be great for your back or anything. But we can chat a little bit here now, and then we'll see your bright smiling face in 10.5 hours. Matt, what the bleep?
I think I'm very encouraged. You think that my face will be smiling in 10.5 hours after having watched this football game tonight. What the bleep indeed. I mean, the I guess the bleep is, what about those drops, man?
Yeah.
That's a killer. And, and I was actually, the last thing I heard before you called me was I was going back and listening to Andy Reid, and, and he said exactly what I thought. I mean, the defense played well. This defense played well enough to win this game tonight. And I know there's going to be a lot of conversation about Chris Jones and what he means to this defense. But, I mean, if I'm Brett Veach, I'm not waking up tomorrow morning and thinking to myself, hey, I need to call the Katz brothers and offer Chris Jones $35 million a year, because I think the defense played fine. But one of my takeaways is, who is really important to this team? Travis Kelce.
Matt, depending on what kind of math you want to do, the Chiefs' defense tonight gave up either 7 or 14 points, depending on how you want to allocate the blame. Clearly, one long touchdown drive that they just, Lions just got them over the course of that drive. The other one that, they ultimately gave up the points, they got to stop until special teams went out there and fourth and short, deep in Lions territory for what it's worth, but special teams got. And so the defense had to come back out there again, and they couldn't get a second stop. Saying the defense played well enough to win, I said the exact same phrase, but going through it again, that's an understatement. The defense did way more than enough to win, and there was not a reliable pass catcher to be found anywhere on the Chiefs' offense.
There wasn't. I mean, the only
MVS.
And what kind of through the looking glass world are we in? If we're saying, thank goodness that MVS was there with his reliable hands to save the day.
Yep.
Bless his heart and all. No, I mean that was an incredible catch. I mean, we do give Marquez some grief because he does drop some easy passes from time to time. Didn't drop any easy passes tonight, and then he makes one of the more difficult catches that you're ever going to see. Holding on to that football was impressive as heck. So I give him nothing but props for that one. But Kadarius Toney, I mean, if you do see him, I mean, he may not appreciate it, but that man is in desperate need of a hug right now.
Yeah.
So you might just, even if he's choose your way, you might just go ahead and give him a quick hug. But the one I didn't really see coming was Sky Moore.
Yeah.
Sky had such a great preseason and great training camp, and really, felt like he was going to get off to a great start this year. And he has the one catch get wiped out by the penalty, but not all the misses were on him. I mean, Mahomes threw one up that, I mean, he gave him a chance to catch it, but it wasn't necessarily a great ball, but it was good enough to catch. He did have one or two drops I think you can actually put on him. But, the ones with Toney are just the ones that were so remarkable because he had really two for sure that you just say those are, I mean, just catchable balls. And two catches and turns out to -7 points. Yeah. That just can't happen. And I was having flashbacks to 2021, when Mahomes had so many of those passes that were 75% completions, supposedly, that turned into interceptions. And it felt a little bit like that tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And this doesn't make me feel better per se, but if Kadarius Toney, and please tell me if I'm exaggerating, but I think I'm right. If Kadarius Toney just catches the footballs that hit him in either both hands or in his ding-a-ling, if he just catches those passes, we're not talking about the Kadarius Toney game. We're talking about the Kadarius Toney game, where the Chiefs win. He looks like the number one pass catcher in an offense without Travis Kelce, and we appreciate the fact, instead of bemoan the fact, that he was the only dude that I saw get open as a wide receiver on this offense consistently tonight. And he just couldn't do the easiest part of a very, very hard job.
Yeah, and I'm getting obsessed with NFL Next Gen stats tonight.
Yeah.
But he had on his targets, he had 3.1 yards of separation. You get 3 yards of separation, and you got, I think, 5 targets, and you only catch one ball, and you've got 3 drops, I think. Yeah. Yikes! I mean, that's a rough night. And you're right. I mean, honestly, if he just drops one of those passes and just drops it instead of bobbling it into the air, I mean, if he just dropped that ball and it falls to the ground harmlessly, Chiefs win this game.
Yep.
If he catches the ball where he was pretty wide open in the middle of the field, Chiefs win this game. And I said this to someone earlier tonight. The remarkable thing is that I'll probably never say this about this team ever again, But this is the rare moment where I could point to the defense and say, there is no one on the defense that I can point to and say they cost this team the game. Sure, there were some guys who had some plays they would like back. Nobody was perfect. But I can't sit back and say this guy on defense cost this team the game. I can point to almost everyone on the offensive side of the ball and say this person cost this team the game because they either didn't make one play or two plays or three plays. And now, granted, I mean, some of those guys, it's only maybe only one play. Maybe it's one block that they missed, one drop, one assignment that they missed. But that's just where this team was. I mean, I know Andy Reid said it before. That, sometimes you're just a tick off, and maybe they're a tick on next week, and they put 48 points on Jacksonville. I don't know, but this seemed like one of those nights that this offense was snake bit, and it was just nobody could do anything right. And it was almost after a while you just felt like maybe they're even just staring at each other, like wondering what's going to happen next.
Yeah, that's what we were doing here. So me and Dylan and Covell were all doing. We're looking at each other like, is it going to change? So with that in mind, I know exactly what went wrong with Kadarius Toney. The ball hit him in the hands and he dropped it or threw it in the air further to the delight of Lions fans everywhere. But the one thing I legitimately don't know exactly what happened from here on the broadcast feed that you're going to have a better view on is going back to Sky Moore. I imagine at some point, I don't know, maybe you didn't, but at some point I imagine you started like finding Sky Moore and then watching him run a route and seeing why is Mahomes not even looking his direction earlier on, and then the drops came. But what was going on with Sky Moore? I mean, was it an issue of him not separating in the way that we've been lightly worried about throughout the course of his career to this point? Was there less burst than you saw in the preseason and training camp? How do you diagnose what went wrong with Sky Moore?
I mean, I'm not certain that that there wasn't one constant thing wrong with this in the entire offense tonight, especially the pass catchers. It was just that you felt like they were pressing, and from the very beginning, and maybe that does stem back to not having Travis Kelce, and everybody feeling like they need to make the play that's going to save the team and everything. And it felt like they felt like that from the very beginning, and not just, as the game happened, as it came along. It seemed like it was just from the first snap. They were trying to make too big of a play and too big of a moment. Those drops usually happen most of the time when you're thinking about what you're going to do after you catch the ball.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing you can't do. I mean, the most important thing is to catch the ball. If you're going to get 0 yards after the catch, that's fine as long as you catch the ball. And it just seems like that was the particular case. It felt like with a lot of the guys, and I think Sky particularly on a couple of his, it just seemed like he was pressing. I don't think it was that he was in the wrong spot. I don't think he was running the wrong routes. I think he was just really trying to make a play, and it certainly seemed like with Toney that he was just so anxious to make a play. And maybe for him, there's a lot of other issues too. I mean, you haven't practiced really for over a month. And you haven't played in a preseason game. I mean, that's going to take away your timing. It's going to disrupt your rhythm. So it could have been multiple things, but I just felt like, in particular, from the pass catchers tonight, and I include everybody kind of in that category, it just seemed like everybody was trying to do too much, and that's when mistakes happen.
Is there a fix for some of the things then? Because if that's the case, right, like that. A little vibe adjustment might actually cure some of these things. Having Travis Kelce back might take some of that pressure off guys. But in a world where Travis Kelce is suddenly immortal, not immortal, which is what it's been since his rookie year. But in a world where he suddenly is perhaps mortal, is this team equipped to survive a stretch without Travis Kelce, or is he at this point just like quarterback levels of important to this offense, which obviously he's the second most important part of this offense. We knew that, but it looked even worse than I thought it was going to, and I was willing to adjust expectations when he was out.
I mean, I never wanted this to, be proven true just so I could dance all over the place and say, told you so, told you so. Mm-hmm. But that's been my motto for the last few years is, you do not want to see what this offense looks like without Travis Kelce, because this offense runs through the tight end. I mean, that's what Andy Reid's offense does. And it doesn't matter how good Patrick Mahomes is, the offense is always going to run through the tight end. And it's not just the ball going to him, it's the attention that Travis Kelce gets. And, and I have felt that has been the one fatal flaw that the Chiefs have had, really since the moment that Kelce began to become the guy that he is. So I think you could really go back to even 2015 and say that one of the fatal flaws of the Chiefs and their drafting has been not going out and trying to find the next Travis Kelce, and not that there's anyone out there, but they really haven't put much draft resources into finding another tight end. And yeah, they drafted Noah Gray, but has Noah Gray proved that he's that guy to be some facsimile of Travis Kelce, or to at least be the number one tight end in waiting? I mean, I can't make that case right now. So, if you can't say to yourself that you've got a future Hall of Famer who's going to be 34 years old here pretty soon, and you're not prepared for life without him, I just feel like that's a flaw. Yeah. And that it's something that you're going to regret. And I go back to, the 2017 and that playoff loss to Tennessee. The Chiefs win that game if you have Travis Kelce in the second half.
Yep.
But, maybe also win that game if they had drafted a tight end in 2015 or 2016 to be his backup.
Yeah. Did the offensive line in pass pro look as good from the bird's eye view as it did on the broadcast?
I mean, I felt like it did, certainly from the numbers. I mean, Mahomes had over 3 seconds to throw all night long. So I thought the protection was ridiculously good. I mean, he did have a pretty high pressure rate, but then again, I mean, if you're not going to get any pressure on the quarterback and you're just going to try to cover, I mean, eventually it's going to break down. So you can only protect the quarterback for so long. If you can protect him for 3.5 seconds, I mean, that's about the best you can hope for. And Mahomes had time, but once again, I mean, we probably feel a lot differently if there's a 1 or 2 passes that get caught and don't get dropped. The coverage, I thought that the Lions play tonight was pretty good. I mean, give it to the Lions. I mean, they did what they needed to do defensively, but I thought the protection was solid for the most part. And had Mahomes been as sharp as he usually is, and the receivers been as sharp as they usually are, this is a different game. I certainly don't think it's on the line from a pass protection standpoint. Run blocking, that might be a more fair question, and I know that was something that the guys in the locker room were frustrated with. They felt like that they left some plays in the run game on the field, and especially on the failed quarterback, bulldozer sneak. They felt like that was on them.
There's a lot more we can talk about with you in about 10 hours from now, so I will let you head home to blink a couple times before you hop back in the car to drive here, and then I'll do the same, including the bulldozer sneak and the 3rd and 4th and short and all of that. I've talked about it ad nauseum, and it's almost 1 a.m. So let me ask you the most important question, which is, what can people expect tonight, tomorrow morning, and the days to come at ChiefsDigest.com?
Talked a little bit to Rashee Rice about his touchdown, so we'll talk about the rookie getting in there. Talked to Trent McDuffie about his fumble. I thought that was a little fun little conversation. We had a long conversation with Justin Reid about the defense, and a very Justin Reid's become a really, really thoughtful and I think accountable guy in that defense. And I think you have to give props to the guys who were in the locker room and being accountable tonight, because it wasn't everybody, but the guys who were, I think it speaks volumes for them that they were willing to take the tough questions and talk about the game tonight.
Yeah, I saw a lot of defenders. It felt like were sticking around to talk, which I appreciated, but also felt like Mike Dana out here is answering for sins he did not commit tonight. But that'll make for an interesting next 10 days. It'll make for an interesting conversation with you tomorrow, Matt. I appreciate it. If you want to just swing by my house, we can put you on the futon. I think it's a little closer to the stadium and a little closer to the station than yours. So I'll give you the door code if you want to just say hi to Scout and grab the futon. And I'll see you in about 10 hours then.
I would do that. I'm just afraid that we'd stay up all night talking about 4th and 2 and what you would do.
I got most of that out of my system already, so I think I'm going to need at least one good sleep to recharge, and then I'll be foaming at the mouth again tomorrow.
Sounds like a plan, Josh.
Thank you, Matt. We'll chat very, very, very soon.
Take care, my friend.
That's Matt Derrick at ChiefsDigest.com. Plus, you can follow him across social medias at Matt Derrick and get some great analysis, some great conversations that he had with some of the other guys. And a lot to sort through. A lot of decisions to understand. A lot of bad moments to create better feelings from. And a lot of dropped footballs. I do think that's what makes tonight so frustrating. Losses are always frustrating. Getting thoroughly beaten by a better football team is frustrating. And losing an ugly game where you left plays on the field is frustrating. But I'm not sure there's anything quite as sour as a tremendous offseason of Super Bowl celebration spinning into a banner dropped and a football game played without your second and third most important player, or your quarterback, the face of your franchise, the face of the league, the best quarterback currently walking the face of this beautiful planet. It wasn't his best game, as Matt Derrick just alluded to, but man, Mahomes did plenty. And Superman looked around, and the rest of the Justice League was nowhere to be found. Actually, one of them was found up in the press box, surrounded by his henchmen.
The other was wearing a towel and street clothes.
And the other one was wearing a towel, street clothes, and one beautiful mustache. But that's where we stand now. We knew where the next most important members of the team were. Andy Reid had far from his best day. The Chiefs' defense survived that challenge. And an offense led by Patrick Mahomes couldn't get it done. Not to the fault of the quarterback, but because so many of his excellent passes hit the ground or hit the hands of Lions defenders. That's going to do it for the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. We'll talk to you at 10 o'clock in the zone tomorrow. The Border Patrol will get you at 6. Till then, bye, Mom!
Football season is here. Brobeck's Barbecue has you covered with their Sunday meal deal. Try the family meal deal. It comes with their famous